Chapter 1034. March 13th, Fong Ping made a name for himself in the three realms. The newly appointed pope of the evil sect, True Lord Earth Week, ranked 37th among the 72 Lord Gods and 13th on the absolute talent list, was killed by Fong Ping above Donghai. This newly appointed pope had just arrived on Earth for less than a day. On this day, the evil sect martial artists of various countries fled. Fong Ping quelled the evil sect disaster in Sino Nation in 5 minutes, scaring everyone. Within the borders of various countries, on this day, there were evil sect powerhouses attacking the passageways by force, escaping to the catacombs. Before this, the evil sect powerhouses that swarmed out were all scared out of their wits. Even when King Wu was around, he did not kill the Pope on Earth like Fong Ping did. He did not even have the means to directly lock onto the evil sect martial artist location like Fong Ping did. Someone recognized that mirror, the cat's divine peeper. As for how he did it, they did not know the mystery of the divine artifact. However, they knew that Fong Ping might have used some special means to lock onto the evil sect martial artists. Now, it was the information age. Fong Ping's actions in Donghai and Sino Nation were too big. Almost immediately, the internet was filled with news of Fong Ping killing a peerless fifth-stage pope. In various parts of Sino Nation, the news of many evil sect martial artists being killed also spread quickly. All the evil sect powerhouses who saw the news, without exception, had no thoughts of hiding or fighting. They could only run. Their lives were their own. True Lord Earth Week was ambitious. He came to Earth for only a day, and in the end, he died. It was too horrifying. At this moment, those high-ranked martial artists from the evil sect headquarters wished they could grow a pair of legs and run as far as they could. The previous pope had always kept a low profile. The development of the divine sect on Earth was not smooth. Originally, they thought that after King Wu and the others left, and this time the powerful True Lord Earth Week came, the divine sect would definitely create glory in the world this time. However, after this battle, those people had no such thoughts. Even some of the remaining evil sect martial artists were secretly cursing. Useless. True Lord Earth Week was useless. If you didn't have the ability, don't be so arrogant. Many orders were issued, but they were killed by Fong Ping as soon as they arrived. Now they were exposed and had no choice but to flee. The divine sect's assets on Earth were all thrown in this time. Previously, perfected Lord Dizhou had them roam around. Now, even if some of them hadn't been exposed, they were still worried about being killed. All of them began to flee. If they were lucky, they would storm the catacombs passageways without stopping, blasting open the escape passageway, and running away. Those who were unlucky and had many powerhouses guarding the catacombs were killed on the spot. In one day, the world was turned upside down. In the blink of an eye, the evil sect that had caused a huge uproar had become a joke. Above the East Sea, even though Fong Ping had left, everyone's emotions were still fluctuating. The innocuous Force Bull's face was filled with a wide grin. I've profited. He had really profited this time. Fong Ping was actually so strong. In just a short while, he had already beheaded a peak rank 5 powerhouse. Unbelievable. As for the others, some were frowning, and some were worried. Fong Ping was too strong. Very quickly, Ling Xiao said in a low voice, Fong Ping seems to have borrowed external forces. Wu Qi cursed, idiot, to kill a peak 5th level. One had to be at least a peak 7th level powerhouse. Even if Minister Fong borrowed strength, Old Bull saw that it was just a little bit. At the very least, he has the strength of a peak 5th stage. Is that something you can doubt? Ling Xiao almost exploded in anger. With an ugly expression, he said in a low voice, Wu Qi, are you provoking me? How about it? Wu Qi did not care at all. His bull's nose rose to the sky and said, You dare to touch me? I am Minister Fang's ally. Venerable Emperor Moon Spirit is not here. What right do you have to scare me? Do you think my water clan is afraid of you? Even if the heavenly realm is not destroyed, Venerable Emperor Moon Spirit is also very polite when she sees my elder ancestor. What right do you, Ling Xiao, have to threaten old bull? Ling Xiao said coldly. Wu Qi, Venerable Emperor Moon Spirit, was Emperor Nan's mount back then. *CK, your mother's mount. Wu Qi flew into a rage out of humiliation and scolded, Ling Xiao, my elder ancestor, is a direct descendant of the emperor. How dare you slander my elder ancestor? Mount. Even if it was an emperor ancestor's mount, it would not do. In this day and age, the emperor was gone. Everyone had to think highly of their status. How could a mount sound better than a direct descendant? Even if it was true, it had to be denied. Ling Xiao snorted, a little unhappy. If it were any other day, he would definitely beat this stupid bull until his golden body exploded. But today, Wu Qi was in the human world. Not only that, now that she had formed an alliance with Fang Ping, she more or less knew Fang Ping's personality. If she dared to attack Wu Qi, Fang Ping would dare to kill her now. Although Uncle Qing Hua was ranked at the top of the absolute peak, was she really stronger than true Lord Earthly Zhou? That might not be the case. If Fang Ping could kill Earthly Zhou, he could also kill Qing Hua. Ling Xiao was also on guard. This time, she had to think more. She did not expect Fang Ping to be so powerful. A few days ago, in the Graveyard of Gods, Fang Ping was almost killed by those rank 9s. In the blink of an eye, Fang Ping killed a paragon rank 5. At this moment, Ling Xiao was a little worried. The stronger Fang Ping was, the more Wang Wu had to keep a low profile. Fang Ping was not a big-hearted person. Until now, he still remembered that he had hit her when she was down. It was fine that he did not have an excuse now. If he had an excuse, he might even attack Wang Wu directly. Ling Xiao stopped talking, but Wu Qi did not stop. He roared, Ling Xiao, you are extremely overbearing. You call Minister Fang's name directly. Do you think you are still the impasse from back then? The current you is not in the absolute peak. What right do you have to call his name directly? If this happens again, I will not let this matter rest. Everywhere was silent, even Wu Quishan, and the rest looked dazed at this moment. What was going on? This buffalo, did he flatter too much? Calling Fang Ping's name directly was something many people did. After all, Fang Ping was young. Even Wu Quishan called Fang Ping's name directly most of the time. If that was the case, he had to change the way he addressed him too. Ling Xiao was really about to explode. This was too much. Wu Qi, Water Buffalo, was extremely cold at this moment. He shouted, how is it? Not convinced. A true god cannot be humiliated. A paragon cannot be humiliated. You called him by his name directly. Did I say anything wrong? You dare to call His Excellency Martial King by his name directly? The rules of the 3 realms are non-existent. Minister Fang does not mind. That is magnanimity. How can you be presumptuous again? As soon as these words came out, the powerhouse's expressions changed slightly. Not to mention, Water Buffalo was not deliberately looking for trouble. Of course, the fact that it was not human was ignored. The name of a paragon was not something that could be called casually. Everyone was not a paragon. When they met Fang Ping, they either addressed him respectfully or called him by his name. Calling him by his name, this was indeed breaking the rules. Previously, everyone did not care, mainly because although Fang Ping was on the absolute talent list, whether he had the combat strength of a paragon was still somewhat doubtful. That day in the space battlefield, these people had seen Fang Ping's strength. At least in Ling Zhao's opinion, the current her was not weaker than Fang Ping that day. However, at this moment, the domineering Ling Xiao did not utter a word this time. She did not utter a word. Wu Qi became more and more insolent, shouting again, "The next time someone dares to disrespect Minister Fang, I will not let it go easily." At this moment, Wu Quishan and the rest looked at each other. This buffalo, was it arranged by us humans to enter the Forbidden Sea? Why did it feel like it was even more attentive than them? At this moment, it had almost become this buffalo's home ground. Just as everyone was speechless, Fang Ping broke through the air and returned. At this moment, Fang Ping had already returned to his original state. As for Old Man Li and the rest, he had thrown them to Magic City halfway. Old Man Li was indignant, insisting that Fang Ping had deliberately disrupted his rhythm, almost causing him to not be able to slash with his sword. Fang Ping was too lazy to talk to the old man, tossing them to Magic City casually. "Nonsense, I'm the main character. Back then, when I was the main character, there were always people who came to disturb me. Old Wang had done this. Old Zhang had done it. Old Man Li had done it too, now that he was the boss of Earth. How could his limelight be stolen by others? He had already given Old Man Li enough face by slashing with his sword, yet he still wanted to speak. Did he not see Ironhead's head, which was forcefully stuffed in by him, stuck in the armor until now, and could not be pulled out? Fang Ping stepped on the air, extremely calm. At this moment, the powerhouses from all four sides looked at each other, without waiting for them to speak. Wu Qi's voice was like a great bell, his roar shaking the heavens. "Congratulations, Master Fang, for killing true Lord Dizhou and becoming invincible." Fang Ping stared at this buffalo. Are you sure you haven't been possessed by Jiang Chao, Qin Fengqing, and the rest? These words sound very familiar to me." However, Wu Qi did not care. It was very afraid. Afraid of Fang Ping, afraid of the cat. Anyway, it was afraid. Moreover, it had a grudge with Fang Ping. When they were in Emperor's Tomb, it was not on Fang Ping's side. Among the powerhouses who besieged Fang Ping and the rest in Emperor's Tomb that day, who was still alive, Qi Huanyu was dead. Qi Huanyu's master, Fate King, was dead. Nameless Mountain's youth was dead. Nameless Emperor was dead. Chang Rong Heavenly Emperor was dead. Mystic Dragon Guardian's descendant, Mystic Dragon, was dead. Chang Rong Sky's Chang Shan Qi was still alive, but would he dare to leave Chang Rong Sky in this lifetime? Lu Ji was not dead, but now there was no sign of him in the three realms. Excluding King Hua's grandson, thinking about it, it seemed that only Wu Qi was not dead. His elder ancestor was not dead either. According to Fang Ping's trend, if he did not die, then the elder ancestor would die. The opponents in Emperor's Tomb were almost all killed. Li Wuji was really scared. He did not want to die. Seeing that Fang Ping was looking at him, Wu Qi was trembling with fear. He said, trembling with fear, "Master Fang, today you made a name for yourself in the three realms with peak rank 5 blood. Now that there are no venerable emperors in the three realms, you are the number 1 in the three realms. Why don't you change your title to Realm King?" Having said that, he quickly added, "Previously, you were called the Demon King, but when the Demon Emperor was alive, the Demon Emperor was not as heroic as you. You can't change your title after you become an emperor." Wu Qi said it with fear. Would there be a problem with what old Niu said? As for the Demon Emperor, who cared? The Demon Emperor was not here now. Even if he came back and the elder ancestor came out, he was not too afraid. Realm King. Fang Ping smiled. "No need. Fame and fortune are external things. If I am strong, who in the three realms dares to offend me? If I am not strong, so what if my title is famous?" Wu Qi had just heaved a sigh of relief when 2 words suddenly appeared in his mind. "King of Man." At this moment, Thunder rumbled. At this moment, Wu Qi almost lost his footing. Oh my God! Was Fang Ping speaking? Old Niu was about to break down. Wu Qi was really shocked. Did this mean that he wanted him to suggest that he change his title to King of Man? King of Man was Martial King. Everyone knew this before. However, Martial King had his own title. Very few people would call him King of Man. But now, Fang Ping was so shameless, he wanted to be King of Man. Even though Wu Qi almost broke down, he reacted quickly and shouted, "How can you do this, sir? A powerhouse's name should be known throughout the three realms. How can you let the powerhouses of the three realms call sir by his name?" As soon as he said that, Wu Qi's voice sounded like a bell again, spreading in all directions. When Sir was in danger, you stood up and united the human race. You killed the cult master and saved the human race from danger. Now that King of Man has entered the tomb of heaven, the human race has no king. How can a race be without a king? Sir should be King of Man, and lead the human race to become the strongest in the three realms. As he said that, Wu Qi's power exploded. He looked around, his mentality fluctuating to the extreme. Everyone, Sir Fang is not worthy of the title of King of Man. Wu Qi. Fang Ping's expression was cold, and he said lightly, "King of Man is Martial King. What are you planning by making the headquarters the King of Man?" Wu Qi cursed in his heart. Shameless bastard. However, this kind of person was the hardest to deal with. He was not afraid of those normal paragons, but he was afraid of Fang Ping, who was shameless to the extreme. At this moment, even though he was cursing in his heart, he said again, "Sir, the Water Clan has no intention to sow discord. Sir Martial King is the best in the three realms. Everyone in the three realms knows the title of King of Man. The title of King of Man is not stronger than that of King of Man. It is only easier for the powerhouses of the three realms to spread. Sir, King of Man, you are worthy of the title." Fang Ping frowned. At this moment, Wu Qi roared again, "Greetings, King of Man!" The water buffalo's mentality had been unleashed to the extreme, even suppressing many rank 9 powerhouses. It was already like this. At this moment, many people looked at each other. Soon, someone from the Hall of Gods said, "Minister Fang's previous title of Demon King is indeed inappropriate. The Demon Emperor is alive. He should change his title. King of Man. Minister Fang is worthy of the title of King of Man." When King Wu went to the Celestial Cemetery, before he left, he entrusted Earth to Minister Fang, hoping that Minister Fang could lead the human race to prosperity. The human race also needs a new leader. Minister Fang, you are worthy of the title of King of Man. Yes, Minister Fang, you killed the cult's pope today and saved all of humanity. If the cult was allowed to grow stronger, humanity would be in danger. True Lord Earthweek hid in the human world and pretended to be the country's leader. His evil intentions should be punished. Fortunately, Minister Fang had sharp eyes and killed the enemy, saving the people from disaster. He is worthy of the title of King of Man. Totem City supports Minister Fang's change of title. Andes Mountain seconded. The Hall of Gods seconded. The 10,000 Pagoda World seconded. Fervent shouts rang out one after another. Over at Star City's side, Jiang Yuanhua looked around, laughed, and said, "Star City seconded as well. Now that you represent humanity, you should have your own title. Demon King, the King of Humanity. How can you copy others' words? Fang Ping, the current leader of humanity, you are worthy of the title." Fang Ping frowned and said, "Unhappily, there's no need for these empty titles. The name Fang Ping is enough to make the enemy tremble in fear. Sir, whether you are willing or not, the rules are the rules." Li Wuqi's voice boomed again. "From today onwards, King of Man is Sir. Sir is King of Man." Fang Ping snorted. and did not say much. However, he was deep in thought. This bull could be talked to. It was good material to be a fighter. When he reached the peak, he would see if he could make this bull his mount. Now, he was not interested in ordinary mounts. Not even Jiao. As for the big cat, forget it. Fong Ping was afraid that it would poke him to death. This bull was not bad. It was only one step away from the peak. Maybe it would be there in a few days. Also, riding a bull sounded better than riding a cat. And there were alternatives. When he reached emperor level, he might be able to ride the patriarch of mediocre strength, that bigger bull. Fong Ping thought, but did not show it. He said quickly, "Everyone come back to Magic City with me. Now that we have killed that useless Dijo and a large number of evil sect powerhouses, there will be some unrest in the next few days. Try not to leave Magic City to avoid misunderstandings." No one dared to question him. Soon, they followed Fong Ping and flew toward Magic City. At the same time, with the escape of the evil sect martial artists, chaos broke out in the catacombs. The news spread quickly. Fong Ping killed True, Lord Dijo, in the human world. He killed the other party easily. Li Jun did not appear. True, Lord Dijo entered the human world for less than a day and died. It was shocking. The powerhouses of the three realms were shocked, but some were terrified. On this day, Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven, one of the three realms, closed all its doors. All the scattered disciples, including the demons, were summoned back and did not come out. The only reason was because perfected Lord Dijo had walked through their door. The venerable emperors of Mount Luofu and Mount Huidong were not dead, so true Lord Dijo did not dare to bully them. But Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven's venerable emperor was swallowed by King Wu. Their chances of survival were not high. When true Lord Dijo knew about this, he was not too polite. Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven did not dare to refuse and let him enter the human world. But now, Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven was afraid. They thought that they were in the realm protected by the array, and there was a supreme expert guarding inside. Even if the human world knew, they might not dare to do anything. But now, that supreme expert of Void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven was regretful. True Lord Dijo was so useless that it was shocking. He was killed by Fong Ping after entering for a day. He thought that the divine sect could more or less make some noise in the human world this time. Fong Ping had enemies both inside and outside, so he did not have the mood to find trouble with them. Who would have thought that the divine sect could not withstand a single blow, and its foundation was destroyed in the blink of an eye? The news was still brewing. Not long after true Lord Dijo was killed, Fong Ping was elected as the human king by all the forces in the human world, the overseas immortal islands, the blessed Grotto Heaven, and the outland. Fong Ping rejected it 3 times, but all the powerhouses pushed for it. Fong Ping had no choice but to acquiesce to the human king title. At this point, Demon King became a thing of the past. Human King Fong Ping was officially famous in the 3 realms. Human King, 3 rejections, Magic City, Old Man Li, and the others were heavily injured. They could not withstand the damage from the backfire. At this moment, looking at the gossip, Old Man Li almost cursed it out loud. 3 rejections? Do I believe it? I heard that the title of Human King was first mentioned by that bull Li Wuji. Could it be Fong Ping himself who suggested it? Of course, Li Wuji was a monster from the overseas immortal islands. He did not seem to have much connection with Fong Ping. It might not be Fong Ping's idea, but if Fong Ping rejected it, he would not believe it. This bastard, he was too much. Li Hansong tilted his neck and muttered, "I don't believe it either. This guy, at least show me his face." This time we killed a 5th stage powerhouse, but he didn't even show his face. I'm a little pissed off. Yao Chungjun laughed and teased, "Didn't you show your face?" You're just being pushed back. Cut it out. Li Hansong was depressed. Fong Ping almost crushed his head. This bastard was too much. But he became the human king, so domineering. Li Hansong grinned and said, Human king. Looks like I have to prepare a title too. Human king. How about I call myself? Aren't you called North Emperor Zheng? Yao Chengjun smiled, faintly. Do I still need to rename it? It doesn't feel domineering enough. Then I'll call you Iron King or Head King. Get lost. The two of them argued for a while. Old man, Li was speechless. After a while, he said, Today, I, swordsman longevity, should be the one to make a name for myself. This kid is such a F** king bastard. He had finally shouted, but was covered by Fong Ping. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Instructor, how old are you? Why are you still fighting with us youngsters? Li Hansong had just finished when Old Man Li said, Unhappily, how old am I? I'm just over 60. You guys, 10,000-year-old monsters. How dare you tell an old man how old I am? The two of them were speechless. As they spoke, Fong Ping strode in. He lamented, Human king, Sai, why do you have to do this? I said it's not suitable. Why do you have to do this? That stupid bull, Boundless Force, is only cooperating now. Otherwise, I'll definitely kill it. Fong Ping shook his head repeatedly, his face full of dissatisfaction. The three of them looked at him. Are you really not embarrassed? Why do we feel like you're here to show off? Fong Ping sighed, repeatedly. I'm not showing off. I want to keep a low profile, but my strength doesn't allow me to. Showing off was one thing, but Fong Ping quickly said seriously, Human king, these are all trivial matters. They're nothing. The important thing now is to quickly find out where the passageways to the other outland and the bounded boundaries are. This trash from Earth show must have come through their passageways. This time, if it wasn't for my brilliance in discovering him quickly, we would be in big trouble if an impasse realm hid in the human world. We don't have to investigate the 3 major boundaries. I'm prepared to kill them. But the outland, we must investigate thoroughly. The few of you, this is your biggest mission now. Old Yao's mentality is very strong, close to 10,000. He's also one of the top mentalities among humans. Old Yao, you're in charge of this. You must investigate thoroughly. Otherwise, this kind of thing will definitely happen again. As he said that, Fong Ping added, Oh, right, we must also investigate the 3 major boundaries. I'm prepared to kill them. We have to prevent them from entering Earth through the passageways. When that time comes, they'll be in big trouble. All right. Yao Chengjun nodded solemnly. This matter really had to be paid attention to. It was very troublesome. Once the enemies joined forces and killed their way into Earth, then Earth's destruction would be imminent. Fong Ping issued the mission and left quickly. As he walked, he said, Sai, being a human king is so troublesome. I hope old Zhang comes back soon. I don't want this title. The few of them rolled their eyes madly. Old man Li shook his head incessantly. Sai, the family's misfortune. How did MCMU teach such a thing? He could forget about pretending in the past. He usually did not pretend in front of him, but now, since his strength surpassed him, even he himself had become a victim. Strength is still needed. The old man sighed. Look, now he did not even have the strength to send him flying with a kick. He could not stop Fong Ping from pretending. Chapter 10:35. The difficult April was finally over. In April, Old Eagle had almost exploded. There were too many things to do. On the 16th, Old Eagle became a god. He happily told everyone that he was going to take a leave of absence to roam the world, but that very night, his father was hospitalized with gastric bleeding. Now that he was discharged, He only said a few words to avoid people saying that he was trying to act pitiful. In those few days, everything had come together, and he only went to bed at 3 or 4 in the morning. He was truly too tired, too exhausted. It just so happened that some idiots came to set the pace, and their moods were about to explode. Thus, there was the matter of him scolding someone for a single chapter. Fortunately, all the unhappiness had passed. A new month, a new beginning, everything was progressing in a good direction. Gao Wu could be considered to have entered the later stages, and it truly was rather difficult to write now, so the update schedule was not very stable. But no matter what, Old Eagle would continue writing, giving a good explanation to the brothers and sisters who supported Gao Wu, as well as to himself, starting from September last year. Old Eagle had truly been working hard, never slacking off. Some of his brothers would often say that Old Eagle had slacked off, that he had become complacent, that he had truly suffered unspeakably. From September until now, there had not been a single month where he had updated less than 500,000 words. Including this month, he had updated around 550,000 words. Not slacking off, not becoming complacent. Old Eagle knew how he had risen, but the later stages of the book were truly much more difficult to write than the earlier stages. Let alone saving drafts. There was no such thing as such a thing. Anyone who could save drafts for this sort of update was truly amazing, and Old Eagle truly could not do it. Sometimes when he updated a little late, it was either because he was stuck or because he was not in good condition. Being in poor health was not an excuse, it was a fact. In short, I hope that my brothers can understand. As for the foundational updates that I owed, I was actually too lazy to split them into chapters. I often update 7,000 or 8,000 words per chapter. If I didn't mention it now, then I really wouldn't be able to return it. I'll just do my best to do it. That's all for now. In the next few months, Gao Wu will no longer fight for first place in the monthly votes, and Old Eagle will no longer have the motivation to do so. Everyone can just vote normally. Vote as much as you can and secure a spot in the top 10. The other brothers can do as they please. Thank you all for your support. M. Chapter 1036. After returning to Magic City, Fang Ping began to urge all parties to eliminate the evil sect forces. As for Fang Ping himself, he disappeared again. Just as Fang Ping disappeared, at the headquarters of the Divine Church, on the square outside the Kuan King Divine Palace, the phantom image of the Thunder Protector appeared again. A few moments later, several figures appeared. The atmosphere at the scene was dead silent. After an unknown period of time, the Thunder Protector's furious voice rang out slowly. I told Dizhou not to provoke Fang Ping. Why did he encounter Fang Ping as soon as he entered the human world and was killed on the spot? Idiot! At this moment, he was furious. Controlling the human world by the church was an important part of his plan. He did not expect true Lord Earthly Zhou to be killed by Fang Ping as soon as he went to the human world. It was fine if he died, but many of the sect members he brought with him were killed. These were the core members of the sect. Now, those who had died were dead, and those who had fled had fled. The foundation of the divine sect in the human world was instantly destroyed. The members of the divine sect who were still in the human world were almost all in the middle and low-level realms. Moreover, it was too late for them to hide, so they did not dare to show up again. The few apex experts were trembling with fear. A moment later, a woman said softly, "Sir, Dizhou is an idiot. Their deaths are not to be regretted." Even so, Fang Ping's combat strength was extraordinary. After all, Dizhou had the strength of a 5th stage true god. In the end, he was killed by Fang Ping on the spot. As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. If he could kill Dizhou, then he could kill most of them. Fang Ping's strength had exceeded their expectations. The moment these words came out, the Thunder Protector also became serious. Fong Ping had improved too quickly, much faster than he had imagined. Dizhou was killed. No matter how Fong Ping killed him, or how he did it, it was worth being vigilant. At this moment, the Thunder Protector was also incomparably vexed, as he said in a solemn voice, "Li Shen has not been discovered all along. The Bitter Sea is too vast. It's very hard to find his whereabouts. Li Shen is hiding in the dark, while Fong Ping is out in the open. If this goes on, the human world will only get stronger and stronger." At the thought of this, the Thunder Protector suddenly said, "I asked you to contact the various Grand Masters, boundary lands, and the fake royal court. How is it going?" "My lord, most of the sky beyond heaven has been sealed off, and a few of the grotto heavens and blessed lands have shut their doors. Among the 4 great courts of the fake dynasty, the only one willing to come into contact with us is the Sky Plant Royal Court's king." Why? The Thunder Protector gave a light snort and said in a low voice, "All trash. Contact them again." They could not allow the human world to grow stronger. With King Wu and the others gone, it would not be easy for Fong Ping to become a human king. Even those cities in the outer realm, contact them in secret. The Thunder Protector's eyes were sharp as he said, "Order them to attack the human world. Everyone in the world comes for benefits. If there are benefits, even if these people know it's dangerous, they will still take a gamble. Weaken everyone's strength and let them fight each other. Give them benefits. Tell them that the divine sect has everything, including the imperishable substance, the divine fruit of spiritual sense, divine weapons, battle techniques, and cultivation methods." The Thunder Protector placed his hands behind his back and looked around. The overall strength of the human world is not strong. It is inferior to any of the 4 great courts. His only redeeming quality was that he dared to fight. But no matter how much we dare to fight, our strength isn't enough, so it's all futile. The 72 divine nations of the God sect, the 8 emperors' domains, the 3 sacred domains, and the central heavenly court all sent people out of the God sect. Place people in all directions. Activate the 3 realms divine sect spy. "My lord." When he said this, a divine master beside him said in a low voice, "Sir, the spies are all arranged by Cult Master. We have no right to use them." "How dare you?" The Thunder Protector's face turned cold, and he said gloomily, "The situation has changed. Now that Cult Master and the 3 great guardians are not here, the God sect is at a disadvantage. Are we going to sit and wait for death? Activate the spy, and the God sect will have the chance to unify the 3 realms. Even if Cult Master is here, he will not refuse. Since Cult Master is not here, I have the right to use all the God sect's resources. I don't want to say it a second time. Sky Plant, Destiny, thousands of monsters, and the 4 great court spies will be activated immediately. Take this opportunity to seize the military power in the fake dynasty. Join forces with all sides to encircle the powerhouses of the human world. Only when there is chaos will there be a great world. Now, all sides are extremely conservative and waiting. Fong Ping also saw through this. That's why he dared to kill our divine master gods recklessly. The God sect was born in chaos. If the 3 realms are not in chaos, how can the God sect grow stronger? The Thunder Protector was very clear at this time. He said with a cold gaze, "Only in chaos will there be a chance. Although the God sect is strong, can they really suppress all sides? Although there are not many powerhouses from all sides now, if they join forces, even if Fongyan Protector is really in the dark, he will not be able to resist all the powerhouses." Was the God sect strong? Very strong. He didn't leave the 8 great protectors. Fongyan most likely didn't leave. There were still 5 or 6 divine masters that could be contacted. Just because the others couldn't be contacted didn't mean that they had left. There were many high-ranked powerhouses in the God Nation. But so what? No matter how strong they were, the God sect would still have to kneel if all the forces in the three realms joined forces. Now, all sides were watching the God sect. The God sect couldn't fight all of them alone. When the divine masters heard this, although they were slightly worried, they didn't dare to refute Thunder Protector's words. Soon, an elder continued, "Master, there has been some abnormalities in Destiny Royal Court recently. Some true God descendants and rank 9 martial artists from Destiny Royal Court want to seize the royal power of the Ji family, but these people are also worried about Ji Hong's return. If the God sect can support these people and get rid of the threat of Ji Hong, I feel that Destiny Royal Court can be used by the God sect." There's such a thing? The Thunder Protector just heard this news. His eyes lit up. Interesting. Destiny Royal Court was controlled by King Jen in the dark. Now, that King Jen is not here. The people he subdued are all true God martial artists. Almost all of them have left. Right now, King Jen has almost no control over Destiny Royal Court. At this point, the Thunder Protector looked at the elder and said in a deep voice, "God Lord Di Chi, I'll leave Destiny Royal Court to you. Currently, the only true gods left in Destiny Royal Court are Ji Hong and Ping Shan. You are ranked in the top 10 among the 72 Divine Masters, a level 8 true god. Even if it's 1 against 2, you have the confidence to defeat them. Bring people and seize the royal power of the Ji family. Destiny Royal Court has millions of soldiers. Once the God sect takes control, the God sect's power will increase greatly." "Yes," the elder replied. True Lord Di Chi was ranked 8th among the 72 Divine Masters. Of the 7 before him, some died, some disappeared, and some entered the tomb of heaven. Now, the elder was the strongest Divine Master left in the God sect. Level 8 true God, with origin Tao more than 7,000 meters. Strictly speaking, he was stronger than Hades and War King half a year ago. Of course, his actual combat power would only be known when they fought. The Thunder Protector was also very confident that he could go to Destiny Royal Court. The Thunder Protector continued, "Go and contact the 3 forces of Heaven Plant's Royal Court. Even if you can't subdue them, create chaos. I don't want to see the 3 realms in peace anymore." As he said that, his eyes lit up. The 3 realms are in chaos. I don't believe that Li Jun won't show up. I wanted to kill him secretly, but if he doesn't show up, then attack the human world and force him to show up. Yes. The few of them replied again. Soon, the topic returned to the woman's voice. "Sir, how should we deal with Fang Ping? No matter how incompetent Earth Zhou is, he's still our divine master. Moreover, Fang Ping is too strong. It's not good for the God sect." Fang Ping, the Thunder Protector, was silent for a moment, then said, "Fang Ping is cunning. He survived until now and is hard to kill, especially in the human world. If I go over, it'll easily cause the Tao to tremble and make him escape immediately." However, after thinking about it, the Thunder Protector said, "Fang Ping intends to unite all the forces in the human world and enter the land realm to train. Keep a close eye on those people, especially those Fang Ping cares about. Take the opportunity to capture them and see if there's a chance to kill Fang Ping." After saying that, he added, especially Wang Jinyang and the other 2, once they enter the land realm, take action immediately. These 3 people, 2 divine masters, went to capture them previously and died in the end. There must be a secret. However, be careful and advance step by step. Lure them deep into the sea of bitterness, and then kill and capture them. This matter will be handled by true Lord Earth Wisdom. The Thunder Protector looked at the woman who spoke. True Lord Earth Wisdom, ranked 23rd among the Divine Masters. Among the three great sect protectors of the God sect, there was a Saint Heaven Wisdom, one of the 36 saints back then. Heaven Wisdom and Earth Wisdom were still somewhat related. True Lord Earth Wisdom was also a top-notch powerhouse. Her ranking was much higher than Earthshow. The Thunder Protector felt that leaving it to her was not a big problem. Yes, True Lord Earth Wisdom answered, and said with a sweet smile, I've always wanted to see how heroic the reincarnation of the Extreme Tao Heavenly Emperor is. Extreme Tao Heavenly Emperor, the Thunder Protector pondered for a moment before saying, these people might not be the reincarnation of the Extreme Tao Heavenly Emperor. Sect Master once said that the Extreme Tao Heavenly Emperor might not be dead. Of course, it might not be the reincarnation of a wisp of divine consciousness. No matter what, it's best to be careful. The two divine masters died strangely. I understand. Then go do it. The Thunder Protector waved his hand. The few figures quickly disappeared. Once they left, the Thunder Protector looked toward the Earth King Hall. After hesitating for a moment, he slowly moved. In front, a huge temple stood, the door tightly shut. Walking slowly to the temple door, the Thunder Protector looked at the incomparably huge door and murmured, the remains of the Heavenly Emperor are inside. King Earth usually cultivates here. Do you really not know the earthly sovereign's great Tao? All these years, you've thrown the three realms into chaos. Did you really gain nothing? The war of the earthly Emperor God dynasty, the war between the North and the South, the war of the demon emperors. You're everywhere. What are you doing? The Tao of war. I've never seen you use this Tao. War. Heavenly emperors live by war and fight all their lives. Sect Master. What are you doing? The Thunder Protector closed his eyes as countless thoughts ran through his mind. The earthly sovereign was actually the kind of person who focused on fighting. Among the 9 emperors, he was the most powerful. Needless to say, the Heavenly Emperor also fought to his death. Sect Master was the projection of the earthly sovereign. You, at this moment, the Thunder Protector murmured softly. If these words were spread out, it would probably cause a great uproar. King Earth, projection of the earthly sovereign, no one had ever thought of that. However, as one of the 8 great protectors of the divine sect, Thunder Protector had some doubts. The projection of the earthly sovereign appeared too late. It only appeared after the heaven realm was destroyed, and the 3 realms were in chaos for thousands of years. The Thunder Protector had once suspected that the establishment of the earthly Emperor God dynasty was to follow the path of the heavenly court, the orthodox Great Tao. However, later on, they discovered that this path was not working. Therefore, during the peaceful era of the earthly Emperor God dynasty, the news that the earthly sovereign was a projection was leaked, and the subsequent war broke out. Did King Earth think that the path was not working and wanted to change to another way? If so, it made sense that the divine sect leaked the news. Over the years, this was what puzzled the Thunder Protector the most. Why did King Earth leak the secret? If the projection of the earthly sovereign was real, even if it was not his father's real body, it should be a clone. The earthly Emperor God dynasty was also King Earth's family business. Why did he directly leak the secret and cause the destruction of the earthly Emperor God dynasty? Some things could not be figured out, but they could be explained for the sake of the great Tao. What's the secret in the divine hall? The Thunder Protector strode forward. After a few steps, he saw countless flashing restrictions on the gate of the divine hall. The look in Thunder Protector's eyes changed, and he asked, is it because the remains of the Heavenly Emperor that you set up so many formations in the main hall? Or are there more secrets? You can leave. The divine sect is the supreme one. Why can't I go in and have a look? After saying that, the Thunder Protector took another step forward. At this moment, there was a rumble. A real thunderbolt shot out from the gate at an extremely fast speed. Its speed broke the concept of time and space. The Thunder Protector almost had no time to dodge. With a rumble, the thunderbolt exploded outside his body. Puff! A mouthful of golden blood spurted out. His chest was charred black. The Thunder Protector looked at the gate with cold eyes. After a long time, he stood up from his half-kneeling position and said in a low voice, "It still doesn't work? You're really strong. The restriction you left behind can actually hurt me. It's just a restriction, but it's a 5-layered heaven formation. Sect leader, you've really exceeded my expectations. 5-layered heaven formation. Breaking through 5-layered heaven required a vitality of 2 per million calories. Even a slightly weaker, venerable emperor would be in danger of being killed. When the explosive power exceeded a martial artist's limit, they would have the confidence to kill the other party. A newly advanced venerable emperor would only have a weak vitality of 2 million calories. 5-layered heaven formation had the power to kill an emperor level. King Kuan had set up such a large formation in the headquarters of the divine sect. One could imagine that there must be a huge secret hidden in the divine hall. However, the Thunder Protector did not probe further. He was worried that there was a 6-layered heaven formation inside. If there was, then even a sage might be killed. I also want to know if you can still keep the formation running when you're trapped for a long time. The Thunder Protector snorted and disappeared in a flash, as if he had never been there. At the same time, Spirit Sovereign Dojo. King Kuan's eyebrows moved slightly. He tilted his head and looked back as if he had seen through everything. He murmured, "Someone touched my formation. Thunder, wind, and cloud. How dare they?" He had just left, and someone had dared to go to the divine hall. Dizhou is dead. Who killed him? Is the divine sect also in chaos? Although King Kuan did not leave the Spirit Sovereign Dojo, he knew that perfected Lord Dizhou was dead, just like how Taoist Fengyan knew which divine master had died. The divine masters, protectors, and sect masters of the divine sect had left a trace of their spiritual consciousness with him. Perfected Lord Dizhou's spiritual consciousness had been shattered. King Kuan muttered a few words and did not care about that anymore. The divine hall was not a place that anyone could enter. His top priority was the 9 Emperors' seal. He needed the 9 Emperors' seal. Not only the 9 Emperors' seal, but also the door of reflection in Zhang Tao's hands. These 2 things were what he urgently needed. As for the 9 Emperors, 4 Emperors' fruit, it might not be trustworthy. The cat is gone. Did it find a place to hide and sleep, or did it go out? As King Kuan spoke, he frowned. In the next moment, a blood-red figure tore through the sky. "Hong Kuan Dai, Moon Spirit." King Kuan frowned and said coldly, time and time again, "Don't think that I can't kill you." "Kill me?" Moon Spirit's eyes were scarlet. She snorted and slashed with her saber. "Try me." King Kuan's expression turned cold, but he soon snorted and stepped through the void, disappearing in the blink of an eye. In the next moment, Heaven's pole tore through the sky and said crazily, "Moon Spirit, where are the 9 Emperors, 4 Emperors' fruits? Say that you have them." Moon Spirit snorted coldly, "Kill Hong Kuan, and you'll have them." "Kill Hong Kuan, kill Hong Kuan." After muttering a few words, the 2 of them tore through the sky again. After they left, the figure of Heavenly King, suppressing, appeared behind them. He shook his head and sighed. He's unlucky to meet these 2 lunatics. King Kuan was really unlucky. Moon Spirit wanted to kill him, the moment she arrived. Moon Spirit wasn't his match, but Heaven's Pole was a little crazy. Back then, he had a good relationship with Moon Spirit. When Moon Spirit said that killing King Kuan would allow him to become an emperor, this lunatic actually believed it. Now, this lunatic Heaven's Pole also had the combat power of a heavenly king. Even if the two heavenly kings weren't as strong as King Kuan, once a third party interfered, King Kuan would be in danger. Normal martial artists wouldn't be willing to fight with peers of the same level here. But these two lunatics, it didn't matter. Heavenly King, suppressing, gloated for a while. This was good too. 3 heavenly kings were now entangled here. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for humans to survive here. At this moment, Heavenly King suppressing had just finished gloating. Soon he had a headache. He scolded, "King Jen, King Sun, why you two keep following me?" King Kuan had troubles, but so did he. These two bastards kept following him. It was very troublesome. Weapon Master, hand over the Heavenly King's seal. F***CK, your mother. Heavenly King suppressing scolded, "How can you believe Li Zhu's nonsense? That fellow is the Weapon Master. He purposely sent you away so that he could get the 9 Emperors' seal. Idiots!" The next moment, Li Zhu's laughter came from the void. Heavenly King suppressing, "What do you mean by that? I am Li Zhu. How can I be the Weapon Master?" Both of them denied their identities. At this moment, a man with an imposing appearance broke through the void and arrived. The man looked young. His eyes were as sharp as an eagle's. He was dressed in black armor and reeked of blood. When the man arrived, he snorted and the void broke. Not far away, Li Zhu's figure appeared. Weapon Master seal." The man looked at the two and said coldly, "You changed so much that I didn't even recognize you." King Sun saw the man and smiled. "Sea Guardian, shut up." The man scolded coldly, "You don't have the right to speak." King Sun's face turned green. "Among the 3 messengers, I thought I was the only one who survived. I didn't expect both of you to be alive." Heavenly King, suppressing, smiled. "Sea Guardian, don't misunderstand. I'm really not a Weapon Master. I'm just an errand boy. I'm not interested in knowing that." Sea Guardian did not ask further and said coldly, "I want the 9 Emperor seal. After I get it, hand it over to me. I'll borrow it for a while. I'm going beyond the 9 heavens." Everyone frowned. Sea Guardian did not say anything. He looked at Li Zhu again and said indifferently, "You should know how to open the 9 Emperor seal. Once I get it, I can go to the 9 heavens with you." Li Zhu smiled helplessly. He did not reply and disappeared instantly. Heavenly King, suppressing, smiled. "He wants it for himself. Sea Guardian, you're thinking too much. Let's go and kill this guy together. Maybe we'll have a better chance of getting it." After saying that, he also broke through the void and went to find trouble with Li Zhu. Not long after they left, War King came with Zhang Tao on his back and scolded, "Kid, you haven't recovered yet? Don't lie to me. This is the first time I've carried someone for so long in my life." Zhang Tao said weakly, "Do you think that thing is a divine medicine? It only contains some origin qi. The effect is average. It's still too early for me to recover." "Kid, don't call me kid," Zhang Tao retorted. He looked around and said with a smile, "Let's go and find Spirit Sovereign's garden. There should be good stuff there. They want the 9 Emperor seal. We just need some defective goods." It's not that easy. This damned place has a lot of restrictions. There are 4 or 5 heaven formations at every turn. It's dangerous. Take it slow. There's no rush. We can use up some of their strength. You're thick-skinned and can take a beating. As for those weaker true gods, the 4 heaven formations can kill them. Are you complimenting me? Of course. Piss off. War King was furious. He was almost like a horse here. He had enough of carrying Zhang Tao every day. Zhang Tao smiled, not minding it. He glanced at his source world, which was continuously producing origin chi. In the center of the source world, a skinny figure sat, cross-legged, as if sensing War King's gaze. He looked up and said coldly, "King Wu, if this continues, neither of us will have a good ending. Let me go. Let you go." Zhang Tao's huge figure appeared in the source world like a god. He laughed. "Why should I? I'll grind you to death this time. Do you see that? The origin chi in my source world is still strengthening. Looks like we humans have been doing well recently. The people are united. In a few days, when I merge the 6 realms, I'll send you on your way, old man. Don't worry." The void, mausoleum, Heavenly Emperor's eyes were cold. "What are you trying to do? Do you think you'll have a good ending if you kill me? There might not be any benefits, but I like killing people. Don't you agree?" Zhang Tao laughed. Very quickly, he said lightly, "Aren't I creating an opportunity for Fang Ping? You should have a mentality sculpture in the sect, right? If the sculpture is broken, will the void, mausoleum grotto heaven still have the guts to go against humans? Let's see if Fang Ping can seize the opportunity to destroy you all." The void, mausoleum, Heavenly Emperor was silent. After a moment, he said slowly, "You once said that in the blessed grotto heaven, as long as there are powerhouses guarding Mount Royal Sea, you'll let the sect leader go once." "I did say that." Zhang Tao laughed. "Don't worry. When I've grinded you to death, I'll let you go." The void, mausoleum, Heavenly Emperor said nothing. Sure enough, in the next moment, Zhang Tao said again, "And then I'll grind you to death. Happy? Shameless bastard." The void, mausoleum, Heavenly Emperor cursed. Zhang Tao laughed happily, squinting. "I like it when you guys praise me like this. I also like it when you guys hate me but can't kill me. It's so comfortable." Zhang Tao laughed smugly. The void, mausoleum, Heavenly Emperor's face turned even more livid. Meeting this kind of person, he could not communicate with them. The more he communicated, the angrier he got. P.S. Double monthly votes. Vote for some guaranteed monthly votes. Although you don't want first place, you can't lose the top 5, right? Crying. M. Chapter 10:37. Magic City. At this moment, Fang Ping naturally did not know the situation in the trap. After killing True Lord Earthly Zhou, Fang Ping did not appear much for the next 2 days. Sino Nation and other countries' governments were wiping out evil cultists on a large scale. The whole world joined forces. The evil cultists that had almost no high ranks were no match for them. Soon, some of the more well-hidden evil cultists exposed their whereabouts. When the evil cultists were annihilated previously, they mainly killed powerhouses. Some low-profile middle and low-ranked martial artists were not pursued by all parties. However, this time, Fang Ping issued a death order. All evil cultists could be killed. As a result, all parties also adopted the most stringent measures. These few days, many powerhouses patrolled the countries. Fang Ping did not show up this time, not for anything else, but because he wanted to materialize MCMAU. Over at Sun City, ever since he killed True Lord Earthly Zhou, the morale was greatly boosted and the people were united. These few days, in his source world, there were more and more shadows. And Sun City in the source world was also becoming clearer. The source world that was almost destroyed by True Lord Earthly Zhou previously, after Fang Ping spent close to 5,000 cloud origin chi, finally recovered to this state. Not only that, Fang Ping felt that the source world was becoming more and more solid. 5,000 cloud origin chi was worth 500 million wealth points. However, Fang Ping did not lose out. He had killed perfected Lord Earthly Zhou and obtained the latter's storage ring. so he had actually profited from it. In the storage ring, just the energy liquid alone was more than 2,000 caddies. It was equivalent to 10,000 caddies of rank 9 energy stones, worth as much as 3 trillion, which brought Fang Ping 300 million wealth points. Fang Ping also obtained a lot of other heavenly treasures. In the end, the system gave Fang Ping 600 million wealth points. After the battle, Fang Ping did not lose out by using the battle to nurture the battle. He had consumed a lot before. It was worth it. The other point was the improvement of Origin Dao. That day, when Fang Ping walked out of Magic City's House of Governors, he had walked a section of Origin Dao, almost 300 meters. Over the past 2 days, his Origin Dao had improved even faster. He was able to expand it by nearly 15 meters in a day. At this moment, Fang Ping's Origin Dao had reached 330 meters. The speed was so fast that it was shocking. However, as the improvement became faster, Fang Ping also discovered the drawbacks. The Origin Qi consumed was increasing. If he did not have wealth points, he might not even be able to consume Origin Dao. Macmao. Fang Ping walked out of his closed-door cultivation once again. This was the first time he came to this tiny MCMAU, but Fang Ping felt that it was incomparably huge. The gate that was 100 meters wide shocked him. However, now that he had seen the wide world and wandered the Forbidden Sea, the tiny MCMAU was becoming smaller and smaller in Fang Ping's eyes. The perimeter was no more than 20 square kilometers. It was huge for the university, but for Fang Ping, it was too small. One step, and he could walk out of MCMAU's territory. However, this small territory was the place that left the deepest impression on Fang Ping. Here, he became a martial artist. Here, he learned battle techniques. Here, he met friends, teachers, and a group of like-minded comrades. He gained a lot. He could not forget the old principal whom he was not familiar with and whom he had never spoken to. He could not forget Huang Jing, who had stood on the rostrum at the beginning of the semester and told the new students that being a martial artist was both glory and pain. He also could not forget the fatty Guosheng, who entered the school with him and worshipped him. He remembered Fu Changding, the second-generation martial artist who had gone crazy with him at the start of the semester. He remembered that day in the Martial Arts Society, the first time he participated in a battle in the arena and killed 2 rank 1 seniors. He also remembered the naive and sweet Chen, Yunxi, whom he had tricked into buying a lot of pills that he did not need. There was also the proud and stubborn fellow disciple, Zhao Xuemei. Now, where were they? Someone had died. Someone was nowhere to be found. Fang Ping had deep feelings for MCMAU. He had spent the happiest period of his life here, even if there were setbacks, even if there were pressures. However, he had gained so much here. MCMAU did not teach him too many martial arts battle techniques, nor did they provide him with too many martial arts resources. However, MCMAU's teachers had taught him what it meant to be a martial artist. From the beginning, he only sought wealth and self-preservation. In less than 3 years, Fang Ping had changed a lot. Perhaps he himself had not noticed all this. However, Fang Ping had felt this change the last time. I've really changed. Small family? Everyone? He could not describe his feelings, but he knew that in these 3 years, it was the predecessors and martyrs who had slowly changed him. The old vice-chancellor, Old Man Li, Zhang Tao, and the countless humans who had died in the catacombs were all guiding him to change. Macmao. Fang Ping walked and stopped. It had not been 3 years, and he had only left the university for a few months, but it felt like a long time had passed. In the dormitory building, Fang Ping saw some of his former classmates. These people were about to enter their senior year. Not everyone was like Fang Ping, who could reach this stage in 3 years. Some of the classmates looked familiar, and some were still stuck at rank 3. Of course, there were very few of them. MCMAU's Year 3 students could usually advance to the middle ranks now. There were more rank 4s, but there were not many who were stronger. Fong Ping kept a low profile when he walked. He did not deliberately hide anything, but there did not seem to be many people who saw him. Just as Fong Ping was about to change to another place to continue walking, a man holding a gun in front of him suddenly turned his head to look at him. As he looked at him, his gaze became a little strange, and a weathered smile appeared on his face. Yes, weathered. This word was difficult to describe a young man, but at this moment, it was Fong Ping. The young man walked over. He did not call the director or the vice-chancellor, but called Fong Ping's name. Fong Ping smiled and said, "You've just come back?" "I just came back." Fu Changding was much more mature and experienced. He smiled, turned his head to look at the dormitory building, and said, "Do you want to go up and have a seat?" Fong Ping had not returned to the dormitory for a long time. Ever since he became the president of the Martial Arts Society, he had not gone back much. At this moment, hearing Fu Changding's words, Fong Ping smiled and nodded. "Then, let's go up and have a chat." Fu Changding walked in front, his steps firm and heavy. He did not say anything else. Dormitory number 15. This was Fu Changding's dormitory. Fong Ping's dormitory was opposite room 86. Fong Ping sensed that room 86 was empty. Fu Changding opened the door and smiled. "I was going to change dormitories, but after thinking about it, I'm used to it. I don't come back often, so there's no need to change." Fong Ping entered and looked at the layout. It was no different from before. Living room, kitchen, cultivation room, bedroom. Other than the cultivation room, the other places looked like they were about to turn to dust. "You haven't been here since your freshman year ended. This building is quite empty." Fu Changding said it calmly, but it was not. There were 200 households in this building. It was quite empty. They had not graduated, but were only in their 3rd year. Other than a monster like Fong Ping, the others did not graduate even if they had reached rank 6 or 7. They were dead. Many people had died. Fong Ping sat down on the sofa. Fu Changding opened the fridge, took out a can of beer, and tossed it to Fong Ping. He smiled. "When I first entered the university, I didn't even have the chance to taste alcohol. Now that I'm stronger, I don't have to worry anymore. Speaking of which, you're such a busy person. How do you still have time to wander around MCMAU?" "I'm the vice-chancellor of MCMAU." Fong Ping glanced at him. What did he say? As Fong Ping said that, he sized him up and smiled. "Not bad. Peak rank 6 mentality vitality fusion. Looks like you'll be a high-ranked one soon." "High-ranked? Grandmaster?" Fu Changding smiled and sat down opposite Fong Ping. He took a sip of beer and sighed. "So what if you're a high-ranked one? If you don't reach the peak, you're still an ant. My grandfather's biggest wish in this life was to become a grandmaster. He did it. Rank 7 grandmaster. At least my grandson didn't catch up to him. Yes, he won't catch up to him in this lifetime. I won't see my grandson be more successful than him in this lifetime." Fong Ping was stunned. After a while, he said, "Old Master Fu, he died in battle." Fu Changding said calmly, his luck wasn't good. When capital city catacombs were evacuated, a war broke out with the catacombs. It wasn't a big one. At that time, you were preparing for the battle at the King Battleground, so this news probably didn't reach you. My old man, seeing that I was about to become a grandmaster, probably wanted to take a gamble and insisted on fighting to the death. In the end, he died in battle. I fulfilled his wish. He's a martial artist, after all. Dying in the catacombs is the greatest glory of his life. As he said that, Fu Changding shook his head lightly. He took another sip of beer, tears streaming down his face uncontrollably. That's why, Fang Ping, I really admire you. I worship you. If I were as strong as you, I wouldn't have to pee my pants here. As for you, killing the catacombs powerhouses is like killing chickens. And sometimes I'm also jealous of you. Why are you so strong? If only I had a little bit of talent so that I could reach rank 8, rank 9, I'd be satisfied. After Capital City's battle, I can go and join the battle. I'll go and tell that old man that we young people have shouldered this day. He should go home and enjoy his retirement. It's a pity that it's useless to think about it. He didn't let me practice martial arts since I was young. He was afraid that I would die before him one day. It's fine now. He died before me, so I don't have to watch him die before me. It was not the wine that intoxicated him. Fu Changding drank a few mouthfuls of beer. He seemed to be drunk. Fang Ping exhaled softly, listening to him ramble on. After a while, he said slowly, "Old Fu, I won't say any comforting words. You're a peak rank 6 martial artist. Just like what my teacher told us back then. Only the weak will grieve. Powerhouses must seek revenge. If the catacombs kill one of my people, I'll kill 100 or 1,000 of theirs. I wanted to," Fu Changding said bitterly, "but nowadays rank 6. Rank 7 doesn't work either. Rank 9 martial artists are as many as the hairs on a cow these days." Sigh. After a sigh, Fu Changding quickly regained his smile and said, "All right, let's not talk about this. Martial arts, take it slow. The path of martial arts is long. Who knows what the future holds? Maybe I can achieve rank 8 or rank 9 one day. That's not impossible." As he said that, Fu Changding joked, "How are things with Chun Yunxi? I heard that someone said that Jueping should consider getting married." Fang Ping frowned slightly. After a while, he said, "She went to the catacombs in South Capital and hasn't returned yet." Fu Changding was silent for a while. Soon he smiled and said, "It's okay. She's already rank 7. There hasn't been a war in the catacombs in South Capital recently. The catacombs are very low-key now. You've killed them so much that they're afraid. They won't dare to make a move now. That's not the problem. It's just that there hasn't been a war. That's the problem." Fang Ping said in a low voice, "Mount Luofu is in South Capital." Among the 8 major domains, Mount Luofu was located in the catacombs of the southern capital. Mount Luofu did not have a hostile relationship with humans before. However, in the battle in the Imperial battlefield, both sides completely fell out. Shun Haotian came from Mount Luofu. Before this, in the eyes of humans, Mount Luofu could actually be considered an ally among the 8 major territories, except for Mount Wangu, which humans were not familiar with, the void mausoleum grotto heaven where the Yang family's elder ancestor died, and was not clear about the situation, and Purple Cap Mountain had a demon emperor. At that time, humans actually had the intention to rope in the other few sections. Fang Ping and the others targeted Grandmaster, but they did not pay much attention to the territories under their noses. However, who would have expected that in the previous battle, the venerable emperors of the 3 major territories would become the culprits of many human powerhouses' deaths in battle because of the delay of the 3 great venerable emperors. Zhang Tao's use of the demon emperor to stop the 6 venerable emperors became useless. The 3 great venerable emperors blocked Zhang Tao. It was also because of this that Zhang Tao went crazy with hatred. He ignored everything and directly swallowed the void Mausoleum Emperor. Mount Luofu. Regarding the battle in the Imperial battlefield, some news had also spread. Although Fu Changding did not know the specifics, he also knew that Mount Luofu was now the enemy of humans. hearing that Mount Luofu was there. Fu Changding also frowned, but quickly smiled and said, Qin Yunxi won't run to the territories, right? Mount Luofu is in seclusion, so they may not come looking for trouble with humans. Fang Ping nodded slightly and did not say anything. He did not go to the catacombs in South Capital. Right now, he could not rashly appear in the catacombs. Otherwise, there would be some trouble or even accidents. Mount Luofu, he did not know if Qin Yunxi had gone, but Mount Luofu was his next goal. He was prepared to destroy the 3 major territories in one go. When that time came, he could go to the catacombs in South Capital to look for Qin Yunxi. Perhaps Qin Yunxi was just cultivating somewhere. Fu Changding saw that he did not speak and changed the topic again. Fang Ping, in the blink of an eye, I'm going to be in my senior year. What do you think about me going to your Heaven Division in the second half of the year? Sure, I have no objections. Fang Ping smiled. It's not a bad idea to make the Heaven Division MCMU's headquarters, just like the 3 major military schools. Almost all the graduates have been taken away by the military department. The Heaven Division also lacks a base to provide talents. I think MCMU will do. Aren't you afraid that the Vice-Chancellor will find trouble with you? The Vice-Chancellor he was referring to was Wu Quishan. Fang Ping chuckled. What's there to be afraid of? Old Wu is no match for me. His objection is invalid. Ha ha ha. Fu Changding laughed loudly, downed the wine in his glass in one gulp, and said happily, Yes, the heir of the young, the old fellows have no say. Both of them looked at each other and laughed loudly. Fang Ping laughed, but there was some bitterness in it. Some things could only be kept in. Fu Changding's grandfather had died in battle. This was something he did not know. Today, Fu Changding had changed a lot. It was difficult to return to the way he was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, he was in high spirits, giving orders to the country, free and unfettered. The rebellious Fu Changding had even deliberately come to Magic City from Capital City to avoid his old man and joined MCMAU. Today, did Fu Changding regret it? Regret that he did not even return home a few times in these 3 years? Both of them continued drinking and chatting. Fang Ping also found out some things that he did not know before. Fu Changding's old rival, Tang Songting, the guy who was known as Pekingese, had joined the Wuan military. Now, he was a small lieutenant in the Wuan military and did not return to school anymore. Zhao Lei, who was beaten up by Fang Ping for a few years, was now also a peak rank 6. He seemed to have taken a liking to young Xiaoman, and the 2 of them might be together. Some of the companions who participated in the first championship together back then, Jin Lei and Su Yikai, were dead. The first championship had 10 people, 5 main fighters, 5 reserves. 2 people had died. These people who could participate in the championship back then were all prodigies. Jin Lei died in the Battle of Skygate, and Su Yikai died in the Battle of Magic City that time. The rest of them also went their separate ways. Zhao Xuemei's whereabouts were unknown, and Li Zhaoxu's figure was almost nowhere to be seen. Talking about the past, both of them were a little lost in their memories. It was the first exchange tournament. How high-spirited it was. Fang Ping led MCMAU to win the championship. At that moment, everyone was extremely excited. But now, the changes were too great. Some of his opponents from back then were either dead or crippled. Sun Mingyu, who fought with a broken arm that day, came from Beijiang Martial Arts University and died in battle in Beijiang. Fang Ping still remembered that he had met Sun Mingyu and had a drink with him when he went to Beijiang during his rank 3 invincible path. Now, Sun Mingyu was dead. Chun Jiaxing from Donglin Martial Arts University had taken up the Chun family's banner and applied to oversee the Donglin catacombs. He was not a rank 9 nor was he a high-ranked, but he was the bravest commander in the Donglin catacombs. Fong Wenxiang from CCMAU had taken over CCMAU Martial Arts Society just a few days ago. The president of the Martial Arts Society of the same batch, Han Su, had broken through rank 7 and left CCMAU. No one knew where he had gone to fight in the catacombs. Even after drinking a lot of alcohol with Fu Chongding, Fong Ping was not drunk at all. This type of alcohol was no different from water. But he was still a little drunk. When he walked out of the dormitory, Fu Chongding did not send him off. Last year on this day in this sect, the faces of people and peach blossoms reflected each other red. Fong Ping did not know if he was thinking of his grandfather or the classmates and teachers who had died in battle. In 2009, when Fong Ping entered the catacombs for the first time, he saw the old vice-chancellor die in battle and saw the tragic self-destruction of a few grandmasters. That day, when he walked out of the catacombs, there was an old grandmaster singing loudly outside the catacombs passageway. He was singing the same part. Are humans very strong? No, humans are not strong, but we have guts. Fong Ping murmured in a low voice. Very quickly, it turned into determination. Humans would become strong. And there was already a turning point. In the beginning, humans could only risk their lives to kill the enemy and could only be controlled by others. Now, humans had gradually gained the upper hand. The catacombs' outer realm no longer dared to invade the human world. This was success. The blood of the fallen heroes was not shed in vain. On this day, Fong Ping went to the Southern Cemetery, to the top floor of the school archives. For the entire afternoon, Fong Ping stayed on the top floor of the school archives, wiping the memorial tablets one after another. Compared to before, there were more memorial tablets. Fong Ping, however, did not feel any sadness, only joy, because he had already felt something different. On this day, he went to every place in MCMAU. The whole of MCMAU appeared in his mind with unparalleled clarity. At this moment, Fong Ping had a premonition that he could materialize MCMAU. It was so clear. Materialize MCMAU and even integrate MCMAU into the source world. At this moment, Fong Ping also thought of NMAU's old vice-chancellor. That person also materialized a corner of NMAU. It was a pity that he died in battle in Nanjiang's catacombs. Otherwise, Fong Ping suspected that person could also walk the path of an emperor. As expected, the path of an emperor was not a specific path. Everyone could be an emperor. MCMAU will eventually fight with me. I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, but I know that fate must be in your own hands. We've struggled, we've tried our best. Even if we fail, we won't regret it. Fu Chongding felt that he was not strong enough to save his grandfather. Old Wu and the instructor regretted that they were not strong enough back then. They watched their daughter get killed. Their fellow disciples get killed. Their good friends get killed. Old man Li regretted that he was not strong enough to help the old vice-chancellor, to help everyone, and embarked on the path of unification of all paths. All of these told Fong Ping that the people of MCMAU were not afraid of death or battle. They only hated that they were not strong enough. Today, Fong Ping will give everyone a chance. Fong Ping laughed. He walked out of the Heroic Spirit Pavilion slowly, stepped into the air, and flew directly to the top floor of the school archives. Fong Ping went to the top floor of the school archives. At this moment, MCMU was in an uproar. What a familiar scene. What a nostalgic scene. Vice-Chancellor Fong went to the rooftop of the school archives. A loud roar echoed throughout MCMU. Excitement, excitement, indescribable. Outsiders might not understand, but MCMAU's instructors and students knew that something good had happened. Fong Ping went to the top floor of the school archives a few times. It was either because he had broken through himself or because he had something important to announce. All in all, it was a good thing every time. At this moment, in the school, there were countless figures in the air. They were all gathering here. Fang Ping stood in the air, looking around. When almost everyone had arrived, he laughed suddenly. Today, Fang Ping will set up the origin formation in MCMAU. I'll help all instructors and students. Everyone loves martial arts. Everyone fights for humanity. Martial arts must be fought. Kill your way to a bright future. MCMAU instructors and students, tell me, do you dare to fight? Are you willing to fight? Yes. A loud roar resounded throughout Magic City. I'm willing to fight for humanity. The wild roar scattered the clouds in the sky. They were willing to fight, and they dared to fight. Ha ha ha. Fang Ping laughed loudly and roared, then set up the formation. May everyone in MCMAU be like dragons. Today is MCMAU's grand feast. Rumble. Heaven and earth shook. The commotion was incomparably huge. At this moment, Fang Ping's vitality covered the entire MCMAU. MCMAU turned golden and blood red and gold red alternated and began to cover the surroundings. First, it was the school archives. There seemed to be some changes in the school archives. At this moment, it was as if a phantom appeared, merged with heaven and earth, and disappeared without a trace. At the bottom of the school archives, Tang Feng, who was standing in front, suddenly raised his eyebrows slightly. Then his expression changed. At this moment, in the sky, a golden silhouette appeared. An incomparably huge silhouette. At this moment, Tang Feng roared excitedly. Tang Feng, will forge a golden body today. As long as my golden body is not destroyed, I will not stop fighting. Rumble! Heaven and earth roared again. This fellow who was known as Mad Lion was now really like a golden mad lion, his body shining with golden rays. Golden body formed. A loud roar resounded in all directions. In the sky, a gigantic golden lion appeared. Tang Feng could not stop laughing maniacally. He had achieved a golden body. 9 Heavens Divine Emperor. Chapter 1038. On this day, MCMAU shocked the world. Tang Feng instantly reached the golden body realm. He had just completed it when Lu Fengru did not utter a single word. Her body flashed with golden light, and she smashed the big lion in the air with a punch. A fiery red phoenix soared in the void. On this side, the phoenix was still soaring. On the other side, the bridges between the heavens and the earth appeared one by one. Not just one, a lot. By Ruashi, Zhao Lei, Fu Changding, Zhang Yu. At this moment, many peak rank 6 powerhouses began to materialize their mentality. In the sky, the imperishable substance fell like rain. Fang Ping stood proudly in the void. With a wave of his hand, a large amount of imperishable substance emerged in the air. Energy converged from all directions. The entire Magic City could feel the terrifying energy. From MCMAU, the teachers and students soared into the sky, bathing in the golden ocean. Celestial bridges appeared one after another, blocking Lu Fengru's phoenix. Lu Fengru pursed her lips. At this time, Old Manly leaped into the air. A large path appeared. He covered 100 meters with one step, showing off his prowess. Today, 100 flowers were blooming. On the other side, Wu Quishan stepped on the air and came over. He let out a soft humph and stepped on Great Path. Great Path spread and smashed Old Man Li's Great Path instantly. How dare they compete with him on a mere 600-meter-long road? My Tao is 999 meters long. Even if it wasn't as strong as you, it had to be longer than you. Old Man, Li rolled his eyes. Old Wu, this old thing, could only do this kind of thing. Wu Quishan had just displayed his great path when Guo Shengquan and the other two rank 9s came over from the other side, exchanging glances. The three of them felt that they could not do it alone. The three of them roared, and in the sky, 3 great paths appeared. Originally, they were around 200 to 300 meters away, but at this moment, they all took a step forward. The 3 paths were joined together, and they were slightly longer than Wu Quishan's. If one person can't suppress you, then 3 people will. No matter how strong you are, I'm longer than you. Wu Quishan's face darkened. 3 rank 9 martial artists had shamelessly linked the paths together. You might as well send more people to build a 10,000-meter path. 100 flowers bloom. It was truly the blossoming of 100 flowers, stirring people's hearts. On the other side, Lu Polu sighed and shook his head helplessly. Forget it. This old man should just keep a low profile. The golden body flickered for a while. At this moment, a great path appeared in the void. Lu Polu glanced at it and landed on the ground. Forget it. This old man won't fight anymore. There was no way to compete. His origin had just appeared, and he had yet to take a step forward. He was still at the starting point, unable to show off. It was different from Yang City. After all, most of the people in Yang City were ordinary people. War. How many times had anyone experienced it? But what kind of place was MCMAU? This was humanity's front line against the catacombs. Too many heroes had died in battle here. One after another, Wu Quishan, Li Changsheng, Fang Ping, Tianmu, Wu Chuan. Powerhouses like these had all contributed greatly to mankind in the catacombs. With them around, MCMAU would be invincible. With them around, MCMAU would never lose. In terms of belief, Hu and MCMAU did not have a strong fighting spirit. The martial Tao experts were competing with each other for beauty. You're on top of me, I'm on top of you. Rank 9s looked for rank 9s. Rank 8s looked for rank 8s. The middle and low-ranked martial artists were also extremely excited at this moment, vitality force flickering on their bodies. At this moment, a figure was thrown over from afar. Without anyone noticing, the figure was thrown to the ground. Fang Yuan looked up in confusion. Why did Big Cat throw me here? In the air. Fang Ping glanced at her, but did not say anything. Round had already appeared in the materialized object when he had materialized, but there had never been any feedback. The round in the source world was also a lazy girl who only ate origin chi and did not work. Fang Ping seriously suspected that this girl could not get any feedback from him at all. The truth was as expected. This girl did not have any reaction. This was because Fang Yuan did not identify strongly with MCMAU. Not just MCMAU, she did not have strong feelings for Sun City. Her feelings were only for Fang Ping and her parents. She did not identify with the overall situation of mankind. She did not practice martial arts to be a hero or a hero. On the day she decided to apply for MCMAU, she only thought about getting closer to her brother. Even if she could not help, she wanted to run. This was Fang Yuan's true intention. She did not have the ambition to rule the world. She just wanted a complete family. It was that simple. In her eyes, her brother could not die. Her parents could not die. Her good friends could not die. It was the same as Fang Ping in the past. It was unrealistic for the current Fang Yuan to have a sense of righteousness to fight for the country and for mankind. Not all of MCMAU's instructors and students could get feedback. In a school with tens of thousands of students, almost half of them were currently in school. However, only about half of them changed. This meant that the remaining half of them did not have as strong a will as imagined. Fang Ping was not surprised. They were all a group of young people. Some of the students actually did not participate in the war many times. How could they be like Fong Ping and the others, who had seen so much and knew how tragic the race war was? These people did not understand. Being able to have half of them was already beyond Fong Ping's expectations. This meant that these people's will was extremely strong. They received feedback almost instantly. This meant that they all agreed with some of Fong Ping's ideals, or that everyone's ideals were the same. Only in this way could these people receive feedback so quickly. Everyone competed with each other. More and more people became stronger. As for Fong Ping, his origin chi was also overflowing at this moment. However, it did not appear as a Tao. Instead, it was an oppressive force that shook the heavens. It did not mean to hurt people, but it shook the surroundings. Far away, silhouettes appeared one after another. The powerhouses from all sides who had not left were all extremely shocked at this moment. The origin formation. How does the origin formation set up? This is too scary. Everyone was extremely shocked, dumbstruck. In this short period of time, MCMAU had one more rank, 9, Lu Polu. In this short period of time, MCMAU had 3 more rank, 8 martial artists. There were 20 more rank, 7 martial artists. What did this mean? At this moment, there were about 60 high-ranked martial artists in MCMAU. What did this mean? Even the Grandmaster and overseas Immortal Islands powerhouses were extremely shocked. High-ranked martial artists were really not cabbages. It might seem like a lot, but it was the accumulation of time. The people in MCMAU were young. In the crowd, Jade Hollowchild muttered, "As expected, the Tao of the human world has loosened. The closer one is to a human king, the easier it is to prove one's Tao." This sentence was coincidentally heard by Li Wuji, who was nearby. Shock was written all over Li Wuji's face. Tao loosened? There was such a thing. In the next moment, Li Wuji suppressed his fear of MCMAU. His fear of Fong Ping suddenly became incomparably huge, shooting toward MCMAU. Fong Ping was ready to attack when Li Wuji suddenly roared, "It's not easy for the human race. It's not easy for the human king. I have never cried in my life, but today I feel so uncomfortable that I want to cry. Li Wuji's ability is limited. I can only let the Water Clan and the human race form an alliance of life and death. Li Wuji is willing to be the human race's sea guardian, to suppress the chaos of embittered sea. I hope the human king will grant my wish." Everywhere was silent. Everyone was stunned. This was the first force to surrender to the humans, one of the 33 immortal islands. Would the venerable water power overlord kill this calf when he returned? Definitely. Li Wuji was actually going to be the human race's sea guardian. Sea guardian had it back then. The sea guardian was the heavenly court's sea guardian, suppressing the chaos of embittered sea. Now, Li Wuji was going to be the human race's sea guardian. This was different. The 33 immortal islands were all guarded by venerable emperors. The venerable water power overlord was even Emperor Nan's mount back then. His status was also noble. Yes, noble. The human race was just a group of mortals. Emperors surpassed immortals. It was not a shame for the water power to be the emperor's mount. It was an honor. And Li Wuji was actually going to be the human race's sea guardian. The human race did not have the strength to unify the 3 realms. They were even in a precarious situation. But now, this bull had gone crazy. Fong Ping was also surprised. Li Wuji was going to be the human race's sea guardian. Humans had not set foot in the Forbidden Sea at all. The Forbidden Sea was extremely powerful. Fong Ping did not dare to set foot in it rashly. The few times he went to the Forbidden Sea, he returned quickly, not daring to stay for long. Fong Ping was surprised. Li Wuji's 4 hooves were half-bent, and his mentality exploded. I hope the human king will grant my wish. I confer the title of Li Wuji as the Sea Guardian. Different from the Heavenly Court's Sea Guardian, Li Wuji will be the human race's Sea Guardian. Li Wuji, Luo Yu's face was blank. He could not help but shout, "Are you crazy? Li Wuji!" Yu Wuhua also frowned and said softly, "Embittered sea, the land of the 33 immortal islands." In other words, humans could not step into it. The catacombs could not step into it. This was the territory of the 33 immortal islands. In the sea, there were 33 venerable emperors. Now, the Water Power clan was actually going to rely on the humans. It was beyond their expectations. Li Wuji did not care about them. At this moment, Li Wuji only remembered one sentence. It might be easier to advance when one was close to the human king. What did these guys know? The celestial cemetery was a scam. Who knew if his elder ancestor would come back? The Water Power clan did not have a venerable emperor to guard it anymore. He was the strongest powerhouse of the Water Power clan. If he did not find a backer now, he would die. The human race was not considered strong, but that was only in terms of overall strength. There were still many powerhouses. Right now, in the 3 realms, the human race was in the limelight. The key thing wasn't the cat still here? Even the cat was here. So what if the old cow defected to Fang Ping? While Fang Ping was still in a daze, Li Wuji roared again, "Human king, please confer the title. I am the Sea Guardian, and I will guard the sea for the human race. If the Water Power clan does not perish, the sea will be peaceful." Water Power Divine Island, 32 rank, 9 demons, 178 rank, 8 demons, 256 rank, 7 demons. More than 10,000 demons below rank 7. Water Power Divine Island, 1 venerable emperor and 2 venerable emperors. I am willing to guard the sea for the human race. Fang Ping frowned and said lightly, "The venerable emperor of Water Power is not here. Li Wuji, you are not qualified to represent the Water Power Divine Island. Li Wuji is not talented." When the ancestor left, he said that the Water Power clan will be under Li Wuji's command. Before the ancestor returned, "I will be the clan leader of the Water Power clan." Li Wuji's voice reverberated in all directions. The cow's cry shook the sky. "I'm definitely defecting. Look. Wu Quishan had reached the end of his great path. That longevity sword had walked another 100 meters. It was too scary. His great path was more than 900 meters. He was a powerhouse of rank 10 origin. If he could see a little bit of hope in the great path, he might be able to prove his Tao peak very soon. Even the cat had defected to the human race. He was just a small cow. What was wrong with defecting? Now that he had defected, they were a family. If he met the cat in the future, he probably would not eat the old cow, right? Li Wuji had a lot of ideas. Fang Ping's gaze was also strange. The overseas immortal islands were not weak. They were very powerful. They walked in the Forbidden Sea. Those who were not rank 8 could not enter the sea. Therefore, there were many rank 8 and rank 9 powerhouses. The Water Power clan had more than 30 rank 9s and more than 100 rank 8s. Fang Ping was not surprised. Without so many powerhouses, it was not a clan to count on an emperor level. That big crow was also very powerful. No one said that it was a clan. It had ruled many rank 8 and rank 9 demon clans. What surprised Fang Ping was that under such circumstances, Li Wuji, this cow, actually wanted to defect to the human race. This was the first time since the beginning of the world. Saying this in front of all the powerhouses, this was not a secret alliance. This was an alliance of life and death. Was he crazy? He felt that Li Wuji was a little crazy. Although he did not understand, at this moment, Fong Ping still shouted, "Li Wuji, have you thought it through? Overseas is where the evil sect's base camp is. We humans have many enemies. The evil sect is one, the catacombs is one, the boundaries are one, even the outland is one. If you guard the sea for the human race, alone in the sea, it is very likely that you will be destroyed tomorrow. I have thought it through." Li Wuji's roar shook the sky. The Water Power clan is willing to guard the sea for the human race. Fong Ping was silent for a moment. In the next second, he shouted loudly, his voice shaking thousands of miles. "Today, the human race is willing to form an alliance with the Water Power clan, an alliance of life and death. In the name of the human king, I confer the Water Power clan leader Li Wuji as the human race's sea guardian." His voice spread in all directions. At this moment, there were powerhouses floating in the air from all directions, their faces shocked. One of the 33 immortal islands overseas had formed an alliance with the human race. The human race had their first official ally. "The human race bears witness." Fong Ping shouted again. "The human race bears witness." In the crowd, Wu Quishan and the others were also wild with joy. This was not just a matter of the Water Power clan, but a trend, a general trend, an inspiring feat. Someone is willing to form an alliance, one of the immortal islands overseas, with a venerable emperor in charge. The human race bears witness. Everyone roared. Joy was written all over their faces. Today, many good things had happened. Today, MCMAU was strong. Who would have thought that there would be overseas forces coming to seek refuge at this time? The conferment of the human king meant that Li Wuji considered himself subordinate, not an alliance of equals. This was too unbelievable. The human king is invincible. The human race is invincible. The Water Power clan is invincible. His voice resounded in all directions, spreading outwards continuously. Wave after wave, Magic City heard it. In the next moment, it spread in Donglin, which was adjacent to Magic City. In the next moment, it spread even further. One by one, the powerhouses rose into the air, shouting in all directions. It was too exciting. When the Three Realms ranking list was released that day, everyone knew that this world was divided into 3 realms, and among them, the overseas immortal islands were terrifyingly powerful. On the Emperor ranking, the overseas immortal islands had the most venerable emperors. The 33 immortal islands. Each island had 1 force. But how many days had it been? The Water Power Divine Island and the human race had become allies, and the human race was the dominant one. The whole world was in an uproar. Moreover, it was conceivable that after the news was brewed and spread, the 3 realms would be shaken. This was the first time that people would consider one thing. Had the human race really become one of the overlord forces? In the king's battleground, the human race was besieged on all sides. Under the situation where Zhang Tao was almost begging, although a few venerable emperors took action, they did not say that they would seek refuge with the human race. Unexpectedly, Fong Ping had only been in charge of the human race for a few days, and there were already forces coming to him. Macmao, when Fong Ping conferred the title of Li Wuji as the human race's sea guardian, Li Wuji showed great joy on his face. Old Nio was the first to seek refuge. If it was easy to prove one's Tao, Old Nio should have been the first to do so. The most important thing was he had become a family with the cat. How great! Greetings, King. Li Wuji's voice was louder this time, resounding throughout Magic City. At the same time, the Fong family, the cat, felt a little regretful. This cat was so smart. If he was raised to emperor level, would this cat still eat him? Sigh. The cat sighed, a little melancholy. Soon, The image of the cat appeared in Fong Ping's mind, not as clear as before. Liar, liar, answer the phone. Fong Ping was still immersed in the trance of the Water Power clan, seeking refuge with the human race. Upon hearing that, he quickly sobered up and asked, "What's wrong?" "The Sea Guardian can't be conferred casually. This cow wants to bask in the limelight. The human race's Tao seems to have loosened a little. It's easier to reach the top. If this cow conferred the Sea Guardian title and runs away in the future, your Tao will be blocked a little." "What?" Fong Ping was surprised. There was such a saying? Yes, if your heart is not united, the Tao will block your path. Fong Ping focused and said quickly, "Understood. Big Cat, why don't I confer a title on you and make you a glutton ambassador?" Meow. In his mind, the cat bared its fangs and brandished its claws, as if it wanted to bite Fong Ping to death. Soon, the cat's figure disappeared. It did not want to talk to the liar anymore. Fong Ping smiled, but his heart was filled with emotions. The cat did not have such thoughts, but it was fine as long as this cat did not become an enemy of humans. At the same time, Fong Ping cheered up, looking at Li Wuji, and said quickly, "Li Wuji, you and I are allies in life and death from now on. The human race's difficulties are the Water Power clan's difficulties. The Water Power clan's difficulties are also the human race's difficulties. In the Forbidden Sea, your Water Force Divine Island is being besieged by demons. I will go to the Forbidden Sea as soon as possible to quell the disaster." "Thank you, King." Li Wuji roared, excited. "Look, the benefits are coming." Previously, no matter how hard he tried, Fong Ping did not say a word. Now, needless to say, Fong Ping was ready to help. Around them, powerhouses from all sides wore complicated expressions. Some looked at Li Wuji, some looked at Fong Ping, and some looked at MCMAU, where someone had become stronger again. It was really a complex feeling. In MCMAU, there were close to 5,000 people. Right now, there were almost no lower ranks. Middle ranks, almost all of them. MCMAU would soon enter the level of middle ranks in the whole school. This was unimaginable. A group of youths who were not even 20 years old had actually entered middle ranks. This was rare even during the Three Realms' most glorious period. Fong Ping was also full of smiles. Li Wuji's defection made MCMAU's instructors and students even more excited. As a result, in a moment, there were many more projections. In the source world, there were close to 20,000 projections now, and there were a lot of powerhouses. Old Man Li and the others were there before, but their bodies were not as condensed as now. In this moment just now, Fong Ping sacrificed a lot of vitality and imperishable substance, at least spending close to 300 million wealth points. But everything was worth it. The path of origin was harder the further one went. This was inevitable. Previously, in Sun City, 10,000 people could accelerate Fong Ping to 10 meters per day. But later, more projections from Sun City entered, reaching more than 15,000 people. Still, the speed was not high, and the increase was not as big as before. And now, as the MCMAU projections entered, Fong Ping made a simple judgment. This batch of MCMAU people was really of extremely high quality. I'm afraid it can reach 25 meters per day. Fong Ping was a little happy, a little excited. Now, his own path of origin was also a little more than 300 meters, less than 700 meters away from the real peak. Did this not mean that if everything went smoothly, he could achieve the Desperation Realm in a month? The Emperor path is too scary. Fong Ping himself was a little shocked. This path was really scary. Old Zhang's previous strength might have a lot to do with this. But soon, Fong Ping criticized in his heart. Old Zhang only ate and did not vomit. Unlike him, who reciprocated each other, this was true kindness. As expected, I'm the most outstanding. Fang Ping was a little narcissistic. After so many years, did old Zhang manage to make a forced surrender to humans? Look at me. It had only been a few days, and one of the 33 immortal islands had come to seek refuge. People really could not be too outstanding. He was afraid that old Zhang would be jealous of his excellence if he knew. At this point, it's time to do something big. Fang Ping looked around, and finally looked at Li Wuji, smiling a little brightly. His smile made Li Wuji a little frightened. What was it? Old Niu has surrendered to you. What else do you want? Chapter 1039. Fang Ping did not say anything after scaring Li Wuji for a while. Today was a good day. Li Wuji had led his clan to seek refuge with the humans. Fang Ping understood the principle of 1,000 gold being exchanged for a horse's bones. Li Wuji wanted to avoid it, but he didn't dare to do so. Fang Ping was like an enlightened monk. He stepped into the air and pressed a hand on his bull's head. Li Wuji could not get any feedback from Fang Ping. At least, this bull had no intention of guarding the Forbidden Sea for humans. However, Fang Ping was not stingy this time. A large amount of imperishable substance surged into Li Wuji's body. Outsiders could only see the imperishable substance, but Li Wuji's eyes widened. At this moment, a large amount of origin qi surged into his source world. Originally, Li Wuji's golden body was close to 8 forges, but it had not reached this stage. However, at this moment, a brilliant golden glow erupted from his golden body. Li Wuji roared. In the next moment, his body became even bigger. Golden body 8 forges. Demon's physiques were strong. Even if he had not reached 8 forges, he was not weaker than a typical 8 forges golden body. Now that he had entered 8 forges, Li Wuji's strength was even stronger. Moo. A loud sound reverberated through the sky. At this moment, a huge golden bull appeared in the sky above Magic City. Li Wuji's body was huge. Not far away, Luo Yu's expression changed slightly. He could be ranked top 10 in the rank 9 ranking because of his powerful golden body, peak 8 forges. Li Wuji had entered 8 forges. Even if he was just a beginner, he was probably on par with him. According to the human physique, one could reach 140,000 calories vitality limit at rank 8. Li Wuji was origin stage 10, and his origin path had traveled close to 1,000 meters. According to the 5,000 calories vitality increase of one stage and the transformation at rank 9, Li Wuji's current basic vitality was at least 200,000 calories. This was the limit of a human. When humans reached 200,000 calories, they were almost at the peak 8 forges golden body. If they went any higher, they would be at 9 forges golden body. Normal martial artists could not reach 9 forges golden body. At this moment, Li Wuji's basic vitality was about 200,000 calories. The increase of origin path was also close to double. In theory, he had reached a limit, almost at Qi Huanyu's level. Of course, Li Wuji's strength control and combat techniques might not be as strong as Qi Huanyu's. Even so, the people watching from all directions were also shaken. Li Wuji had actually entered the 8th stage of the golden body realm. How much imperishable substance did Fang Ping consume to help it upgrade? Li Wuji, who was at the 8 forging realm, might even advance a few places in the rank 9 ranking. Li Wuji, who was already ranked 7th on the rank 9 list, might be able to enter the top 3 this time. Top 3. First place Li Changsheng. The second Ling Xiao. Li Changsheng had also improved this time. His first place would probably be secured. Ling Xiao was probably about to return to the impossible realm, and not long after, she would return to the absolute peak. Boundless strength ranked 3rd, which was already the limit of rank 9. Li Wuji was overjoyed as well. The roar shook the heavens. Not only had its golden body improved, but Fang Ping had also provided it with some origin qi. Even its origin, Dao, seemed to have improved. Before this, it had already traveled more than 900 meters on its origin path. Now it was getting closer and closer to the 1,000-meter mark. Many thanks for the help, sovereign personage. Li Wuji was satisfied and in a good mood. As expected, Old Cow's choice was correct. Fang Ping smiled and said, "Of course, we humans will definitely repay kindness and enmity. If it's an enemy, then we'll kill. If it's a friend, then we'll treat him with good wine. Brother Cow, I'll treat everyone to a banquet tonight." Li Wuji wanted to retort, "It's not appropriate to call me Brother Cow. I have a name." However, after thinking about it, he did not retort. He was a little wary of Fang Ping now. When Fang Ping grabbed his head earlier, he felt that his head would be crushed by him any time. The man and the cow conversed for a while. Fang Ping landed on the ground. He did not entertain the others. Obviously, he was sending them off. Although Luo Yu and the others wanted to enter MCMAU again to see what the origin array was, they could only give up when they saw that Fang Ping had no intention of doing so. The origin array. On this day, this name spread everywhere. The origin array in Sun City was already shocking enough. However, the one who improved the most that day was Zhang Peng's rank 8. Today, however, even rank 9 was improved. On this day, MCMAU's veteran powerhouse, Lu Polu, advanced to rank 9. This martial artist, who was the same generation as the old vice-chancellor and was not much younger than Zhang Tao, advanced to rank 7 a long time ago. However, he stayed in rank 7 for decades. After Fang Ping took charge of MCMAU, he advanced to rank 9 in just a few years. Wu Chuan, Wu Quishan, Li Changsheng, Tian Mu, Li Hansong, Yao Qingjun, Gua Shengquan, Guan Fu, Mei Lingfeng, Lu Zhen, Lu Polumor, and more rank 9s walked out of MCMAU. As for Fang Ping, the number of rank 9 powerhouses in the Heaven Division and MCMAU directly under him was also increasing. Bei Gongyan, Nan Yunping, Zheng Tao, and Wang Qinghai were all under Fang Ping's command now. Other than that, there were also countless rank 8 powerhouses. In MCMAU alone, there were Lu Fengru, Tang Feng, Chen Zhenhua, Su Geqing, and many other powerhouses with rank 8 combat strength. In rank 7, the younger generation was also rising. Xie Lei, Chen Yunxi, Fu Changding, Zhang Yu, Bai Ruoxi. These people were not old, but they had all broken through to rank 7. In Sino Nation, starting from MCMAU, more and more powerhouses emerged. Moreover, the speed was shocking, and the coverage was still expanding. That night, Fang Ping hosted a banquet. This time, he brought out many good things to entertain the powerhouses from all sides. While Fang Ping was hosting the banquet, Destiny City, night fell, but the Imperial City was brightly lit. The 10-day deadline had arrived. On the 5th, Fang Ping set up the origin formation in Sun City. On the 15th, Fang Ping set up the origin formation in MCMAU. During the 2 times that humans had improved, Ji Yao felt an incomparably huge pressure. In the huge palace, Ji Yao did not sit on the throne. Instead, she sat on a slightly smaller throne at the side of the throne. Below her, on both sides, were powerhouses from the Destiny Royal Court. This time, there were more powerhouses. The descendants of the true king, the Royal City's city lord, the Destiny Army's commander-in-chief, the hallmasters and deputy hallmasters, the generals of the major border armies, and even a few top-notch powerhouses from other regions. Other than these people, the Guardian Royal Court had also sent monsters. A few rank 9 monsters that could not transform into humans had also arrived at this moment. They were especially eye-catching. Among them was Phoenix Spirit, who had escaped from the humans. Although the Destiny Royal Court had suffered heavy losses in the Land of Kings battleground, among the 800 rank 9s who had participated in the battle, less than 300 were from the Destiny Royal Court. There were 360 royal cities in the Destiny Royal Court alone. This did not even include the royal cities in other regions. Rank 9 powerhouses might not be as numerous as the hairs on a cow, but they numbered in the thousands. At this moment, there were as many as 100 rank 9s gathered in the main hall. Ji Yao, rank 8, had just entered not long ago. Beside her, Phoenix Sparrow's head was lowered, as if it had fallen asleep. It was also only a rank 8. 2 rank 8s. Facing so many rank 9 powerhouses, Ji Yao's expression was cold. There was no fear, only anger. These people were forcing her to abdicate again. At this moment, the hall master from the tribute hall, a rank 9 powerhouse who was also on the rank 9 ranking list, Universe Bao, said indifferently, "Your Highness, the 10-day deadline is up. Today, the Land of Rebirth will set up the origin formation again to enhance MCMAU's strength. One of the overseas immortal islands, Waterforce Divine Island, Li Wuji's entire clan has sought refuge with the Land of Rebirth, suppressing the seas for the Land of Rebirth. As for the royal court, danger lurks everywhere. The Destiny Army is scattered and disorganized. The king has never shown up. Hall Master Qi died in battle, Commander-in-Chief Ji Nen died in battle, and many other commanders-in-chief died in the Land of Rebirth. 500,000 Destiny Army, 4 million border soldiers, now a group of dragons without a leader. The Destiny Royal Court alone had an army of 4.5 million soldiers. This did not include the guards of each royal city, nor did it include the true king's exclusive army. 500,000 Destiny Army, all of them middle-ranked and above. Although not all 4 million border soldiers were middle-ranked, the proportion of middle ranks was not small. Of course, most of them were rank 4. This was an extremely powerful force. The Ji family had suppressed the royal court for 300 years, not only because of the Life King, but also because of this powerful military force. 500,000 Destiny Army, 50 previous commanders-in-chief were all rank 9. Most of them were Ji family's direct powerhouses. In addition to Deputy Hall Master Qi Huanyu and Hall Master Ji Hong, these people were enough to suppress the entire royal court. Today, a large number of commanders-in-chief had died in battle, and they were all Ji family members. At this moment, among the remaining 10 or so commanders-in-chief, there were not many who were willing to support the Ji family. If Fang Ping were to rank Ji Hong, the morale of the people would have been gone long ago. Even so, Ji Hong had not shown up for a long time, causing the royal court to be in a precarious situation. Universe Bao said a few words, then said indifferently, "The Destiny Army's Hall Master and Deputy Hall Master will be selected immediately. Reorganize the armaments, gather the royal court powerhouses to assume the commanders-in-chief, so that the Destiny Army will no longer be scattered. The stronger the Land of Rebirth, the more dangerous the royal court will be. Now, there is an urgent report from the outer region. The Land of Rebirth intends to start a war in the outer region and is recruiting powerhouses from everywhere. Your Highness, the army has no commanders-in-chief. How will it fight?" As soon as he said that, many people chimed in. On both sides of the basilica, powerhouses frowned. A rank 9 powerhouse in golden armor berated, "The king is still here. His Highness is still here." If that's the case, His Highness assuming the position of the Destiny Army's Deputy Hall Master is enough to stabilize the army's morale. Universe Bao said indifferently, "Commander-in-Chief Longsure, His Highness is only a venerable. How will he suppress the chaos? Although the king is here, The king has not shown up for a long time. Maybe he was delayed by some trivial matters. Who knows when the king will return? The army cannot be without a commanders-in-chief for a day. Do we have to wait until the land of rebirth breaks through the outer region and invades the divine land? Only then will he wake up. That's right, not just the land of rebirth. Today, the Heavenly Plants Royal Court's Right God General has regained control of the Heavenly Plants army and recalled the old troops. Hua Qidao is once again the left commander, supporting Li Yi to ascend to the king's position. The Heavenly Plant's Royal Court's morale is stable. Lord Monster Plant Tianyu is still here. The people are at peace. Someone said sternly, if this goes on, the Destiny Royal Court will not even be comparable to the Heavenly Plant's Royal Court. The head of the 4 royal courts will become the last of the 4 royal courts. His Highness Long Qi, the son of the Myriad Demon King, has come out of retirement to take charge of the royal court, suppressing everywhere. The White Tiger King has come out of retirement to assist, and 2 true kings are keeping watch, stabilizing the royal court. To protect the royal court, the son of the Sky Demon King, His Highness Peng Yue, came out of seclusion and took control of the royal court. He also suppressed the chaos in the royal court. Now, the chaos in the royal court is gradually subsiding. Only my Destiny Royal Court's king, Lord, hasn't returned yet. Right now, the various king cities and capital cities are all in a state of panic. If this continues, there will be trouble. Everyone spoke one after another, starting to force Ji Yao to replace Ji Hong and appoint the Heavens Mandate Army's Hall Master and Deputy Hall Master, as well as the 32 missing commanders. The Heavens Will Hall Master was also a military commander. Once he took control of the Heavens Will Hall, all the armies within the borders would be under the control of the Heavens Will Hall. Ji Yao looked at everyone and said coldly, "Father is still here, and you want him to abdicate?" Ji Hong was the Palace Master of Heaven's Will Palace. Universe Bao replied indifferently, "I wouldn't dare." However, now that Hall Master Qi is dead, someone must take over his position. An absent main Hall Master made no difference whether he was replaced or not. However, he had to take over Qi Huanyu's position. At the mention of Qi Huanyu, Ji Yao's expression changed again. Now, there were rumors about the catacombs. Qi Huanyu, Life Prince's son. That was nothing. The key point was that the rumors said that Ji Hong was Qi Huanyu's son. Such rumors also made the Ji family a laughingstock. Ji Yao suppressed the agitation and anger in her heart and said coldly, "Then, Hall Master Yu, who do you think is suitable to take over Hall Master Qi's position?" Before Universe Bao could speak, someone laughed and said, "Of course it's Hall Master Yu. Hall Master Yu is the descendant of the Panther King and the Tribute Hall Master. He ranks 3rd on the God General's ranking. Even in the Land of Rebirth's rank 9 ranking, Hall Master Yu ranks 20th among the 3 realms rank 9 ranking. Hall Master Yu is also a veteran of the royal court. He's experienced and prudent. Your Highness can rest assured that Hall Master Yu is in charge of the Heavens Mandate Army. That's right, Your Highness. The royal court is in danger now. Only Hall Master Yu can turn the tide and stabilize the royal court." Looking at the powerhouses from each hall supporting him, Universe Bao did not say a word. Ji Yao glanced at the powerhouses from the other regions and said indifferently, "What do the city lords from the other regions' royal cities think?" "I have no objections. I've heard of Hall Master Universe Bao's name. He's qualified to take on this responsibility." Ji Yao's expression turned cold. Universe Bao had already stepped into the other regions. "Border Army commanders, do you have anything to say?" Among the Border Army generals, some were silent, some sighed, and some said the Sky Tiger Army has no objections. At this time, Among the few demons guarding the royal court, one of the peacocks, who had been silent all this while, said with mentality, "Your Highness Jiao, before I came, His Highness Panyue said that the Heaven's Mandate Army needs to pacify the people and stabilize the situation as soon as possible. If we continue to fall into disorder, Your Highness will consider recalling all the demons in the Heaven's Mandate Army." Ji Yao said coldly, "Kong Yu, this is the Heaven's Mandate Army's internal affairs. Since when do you have to step in to protect the royal court?" The peacock said coldly, "Your Highness Ji Yao, what do you mean by that? The two great royal courts are of the same breath and branch. Lord Mystic Dragon has been guarding the Heaven's Mandate Army for many years. Now that there are countless demons in the Heaven's Mandate Army, if the Heaven's Mandate Army is in chaos, those demons will be threatened. I have never interfered in the Heaven's Mandate Army's affairs. But now that the Heaven's Mandate Army is in chaos, what's wrong with recalling the demons?" At this time, Feng Ke raised her head and said with mentality, "Kong Yu, Lord Mystic Dragon has left. I will take care of the demons in the Heaven's Mandate Army." The moment these words came out, the peacock beast chuckled. "Your Highness Phoenix Sparrow, I forgot to inform you that the Phoenix clan has an order for you." At this time, Feng Ling said, "Your Highness Feng Ke, Lord Phoenix King, has left, and the clan is in chaos. The elders have ordered Your Highness to return to the Phoenix clan." "Feng Ling," Feng Ke said coldly, "what right do you have to order me? You betrayed the God Continent, the demons, the Phoenix clan, and surrendered to Feng Ping. What right do you have to represent the Phoenix clan?" Feng Ling said in a clear voice, "Your Highness is right. The Phoenix spirit had indeed been held captive by the land of rebirth, but she had luckily escaped with her life. Currently, many powerhouses of the Phoenix clan had perished in battle, including elders from the Council of Elders. The Phoenix spirit was fortunate enough to return to the Phoenix clan and was recommended by a few elders. Now, she had entered the Council of Elders and assumed the role of the Phoenix clan's 19th elder. Now, Feng Ling has received orders from the Heaven's Mandate and the elders to ask Your Highness to return to the Phoenix clan. Your Highness, please think twice." "Bastard!" Feng Ke was furious. The traitor of the Phoenix clan could actually become an elder of the elders. Now that the elder ancestor was gone and she was not around, the Phoenix clan might have changed. Ask her to return? Kill her? Feng Ke was also a genius of the Phoenix clan. She had already honed her golden bones when she was rank 6 and quickly advanced to rank 8. Moreover, she had signed a contract with the Phoenix clan's descendant. If everything went smoothly, she would definitely take over the position of the Phoenix clan's clan leader. But now, Feng Ke was also extremely angry. The elder ancestor is not dead yet, and you dare to disobey him. Feng Ling, aren't you afraid that the elder ancestor will return? Your Highness, Feng Ling interrupted. Feng Ling only listens to the Heaven's Mandate and the Elder's Mandate. Even if the Lord Phoenix King returns, Feng Ling is only a messenger. Moreover, the Phoenix clan has no intention of disobeying Your Highness. They are only doing this for Your Highness's safety. Feng Ke wanted to say more, but Ji Yao raised her hand and interrupted her. The intention of protecting the Heaven's Mandate was very clear. They wanted to weaken the forces on her side and not give her a chance to borrow strength to protect the Heaven's Mandate. If Feng Ke was recalled, she would lose the support of the demons. There were many demons in the Heaven's Mandate now. Feng Ke was the descendant of the Phoenix King and one of the demons' highness. Since Xianlong was not around, Feng Ke had the authority to control these demons. But now, the Heaven's Mandate had issued an order. Even if Feng Ke did not leave, the demons in the Heaven's Mandate would not listen to Feng Ke anymore. Ji Yao's face was filled with despair. The outer region, The border forces, the various halls, including the demons, were all roped in. Who else could she rely on? Where was her father? Why was he not back yet? Previously, she thought that her father had entered the sky cemetery, but Fong Ping and the others said that her father was still there and did not enter. Could it be that he was hiding and healing himself? Father, the Ji family is in such dire straits. Why haven't you appeared yet? Ji Yao paled even more. Where should she go? While Ji Yao was thinking about Ji Hong, outside Destiny City. Who are you? Ji Hong asked in grief and indignation. In front of Ji Hong was an old man with white hair and beard. He smiled calmly at the question. Why would a dead man need to know such things? Ji Hong, this seat didn't expect you to have a second Tao. It seems that you've been walking the origin Tao these days. Both are short, but it's still beyond my expectations. Ji Hong said nothing, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. You're very strong. After a moment of silence, Ji Hong said mournfully, now that there's still such a nameless expert in the three realms and someone who wants to meddle in Destiny Court, it must be someone from the divine sect. You're not stupid after all. The old man smiled. Since you've guessed it, there's no harm in telling you. I am True Lord Dichi. True Lord Dichi ranked 8th among the 72 divine masters. Ji Hong said sadly, I see. Dichi frowned, but didn't say anything. That little bastard Fong Ping had learned some information about the divine sect that had spread throughout the three realms. 72 divine masters, 8 enforcers, and 3 sect protectors. The news had spread far and wide. Ignoring them, True Lord Dichi slowly walked toward Ji Hong. He'd been waiting for either Ji Hong or King Pingshan, but the latter hadn't shown up at all. Instead, Ji Hong had. Now that he had injured and killed Ji Hong, King Flattening Mountain was the only true monarch in the entire Destiny Royal Court. As an 8th stage true god who'd walked more than 7,000 meters in the origin Tao, Ji Hong was far inferior to a newly ascended peak like Ji Hong, even though he'd walked 2 great Taos. It wouldn't be hard to kill him now that he was injured and had nowhere to run. On the other side, Ji Hong despaired. I can join the divine sect. Is that so? True Lord Dichi smiled. He didn't refuse, but he didn't agree either. House Ji had great influence on Destiny Court. If he let Ji Hong go, they could easily rebel. Universe Bao and the others, on the other hand, needed the divine sect support. Killing Ji Hong was more in line with the interests of the divine sect. True Lord Dichi, it's not that I can't do anything. However, Yao knows nothing and doesn't have the strength to fight against the divine sect. If you agree to let Yao go, Jiao, True Lord Dichi smiled. That's not impossible, but you're not qualified to negotiate with me. Before he finished his sentence, True Lord Dichi's hand covered the skies and grabbed towards Ji Hong like an iron cage. Ji Hong's face was filled with despair as well. However, the next moment, it turned into a vicious expression. Die! In the void, a great Tao appeared. From all directions, countless people prostrated themselves in worship. That was the Tao of the people of the catacombs. That was the Tao of the King Lord. Ji Hong had cultivated for many years and cultivated the Tao of the people to the extremity realm. It was extremely powerful. At that moment, Ji Hong did not hesitate at all. Boom! The Tao collapsed. He self-destructed his Tao. Perfected Lord Dichi's palm exploded, and he frowned slightly. His origin Tao was shaking. However, Ji Hong was dead for sure. He seemed to have just taken a step into his second Tao. It was merely 1,000 meters. There was no way a martial artist as such would be a match for perfected Lord Dichi if he was severely injured. Right as he was thinking, Ji Hong's aura intensified instead of weakening. heaven destruction. His roar shook one's heart. Suddenly, a spear appeared in Ji Hong's hands with an incomparably powerful spear shadow that resembled a dragon. It seemed even stronger than his Tao of the people. However, Ji Hong had not displayed it before this. The spear was extremely fast. Right as perfected Lord Di Chi was defending against the effects of his first Tao self-destruction, the spear pierced into his body in the blink of an eye. Boom! There was a loud explosion. Perfected Lord Di Chi wanted to retaliate when a dazzling spear light burst forth from his body and blood oozed from his mouth. Ji Hong's expression was cold as he retracted his spear swiftly and harumphed coldly. Di Chi, you'll definitely die if I don't. With that, he tore through the air and fled. Perfected Lord Di Chi paused on the spot for a moment and dispersed the spear light with an extremely cold gaze. The second Tao is even stronger than the first. How did he do it? Spear technique. Heaven destruction. Chi Huanyu, perfected Lord Di Chi's gaze flickered slightly, and he chased after Ji Hong without hesitation. He was starting to understand. Chi Huanyu had most likely imparted his Tao to Ji Hong. Chi Huanyu was dead, and the fate monarch who walked on his Tao was dead. However, there were still people who knew how to do it. Not only that, Ji Hong entered a hopeless state swiftly after the two of them died, with his Tao unobstructed. It was no wonder why his Tao was even stronger than his first Tao. Ji Hong was walking on a Tao that existed to begin with. Furthermore, Chi Huanyu must have put in a lot of effort, and Ji Hong might have already walked on his second Tao prior to this, and was only a step away from the peak. Chi Huanyu, what a man! Perfected Lord Di Chi knew of this man, but he had not expected the other party to have such a setup. Chi Huanyu's Tao was extremely strong. If it was not, the Fate Monarch would not have taken a liking to him. However, the combat strength that Ji Hong displayed at this moment far surpassed that of most early-stage, hopeless realm experts. The other party was not weak or at the peak. Perhaps it was a good thing that his first Tao was destroyed. If his Tao was unobstructed, he might be able to become stronger swiftly by walking on a stronger second Tao. This man must die. Otherwise, there'll be trouble in the future. Perfected Lord Di Zhou glanced sideways at Destiny City, feeling somewhat relieved. There were still many experts of the divine sect here. Although they were not at the peak, there were still dozens of rank 9 experts. Since Yu Bao dared to rebel, he would not be able to bear the consequences. Ji Hong. Perfected Lord Di Chi growled and shot through the air in pursuit. M. Chapter 1040. In the main hall of the Imperial Palace. Ji Yao was still unaware of what had happened outside the city. The two experts exchanged blows, but their pressure was not apparent, so Ji Yao did not sense it at all. She didn't know that her father had already appeared, but that he was being chased by someone and couldn't come to help. After being forced to abdicate the throne, her father had yet to return. Ji Yao felt immense pressure. In the main hall, Ji Yao was silent for a long time. Under everyone's covetous gazes, she was a little tired and said in a cold voice, "To become the commander-in-chief of the Heavenly Fate Army, it's not enough just because you have some strength. Wisdom, foresight, courage, and strength. Not a single one can be lacking." Universe Bao smiled faintly. "Your Highness, do you think that I lack these things? Ji Yao doesn't know and doesn't understand Palace Master Yu." Ji Yao said coldly, "But the Heavens Mandate Army was single-handedly forged by Hall Master Chi. The Imperial Court will not let an incompetent person take the position of Hall Master either. Even if I agree to it, the Heavenly Mandate Army won't." As soon as these words came out, someone below said coldly, "That's right. The Heavenly Mandate Army will only obey the strong and the wise." Trash. isn't qualified to lead the heavenly mandate army. Universe Bao frowned slightly. After a long while, he slowly said, "Your Highness, you mean?" Ji Yao closed her eyes. After a moment, she opened them and said, "Hall Leader Qi died in Fang Ping's hands. If you want to be the new commander-in-chief of the Heaven's Mandate Army, you'll have to kill Fang Ping first and avenge Hall Leader Qi." As soon as these words came out, the main hall was instantly in chaos. Universe Bao's face turned ashen. He said in a low voice, "Your Highness, are you sending me to my death?" What a joke! Fang Ping had just killed a desperation top-notch powerhouse. Should he kill Fang Ping himself? Ji Yao said coldly, "Since you don't have this ability, how are you going to fight the land of rebirth? You swore earlier that once you became the commander of the Heaven's Mandate Army, you would suppress everyone. Is this how you're going to do it?" Universe Leopard frowned. These words were difficult to answer. Fang Ping was Qi Huanyu's murderer and the main culprit behind the Life King's death. Killing Fang Ping and making him the leader of the Royal Court's army would be the best outcome. But he really couldn't do it. Would King Pingshan, who was still in the royal court, dare to kill Fang Ping? Would the powerhouse supporting him dare to kill Fang Ping? Fang Ping was now in the land of rebirth. Going there to kill Fang Ping would be courting death. Even if he came to God Continent, he wouldn't dare to make a move. The person behind him was more likely. Yu Bao gestured to the person beside him. Soon, that person said, "Your Highness, why deliberately make things difficult for Palace Master Yu?" It was not the first time they had tried to kill Fang Ping in Divine Land, but they had suffered heavy casualties every time. The deaths of Hall Leader Qi and Lord Fate King were all related to Fang Ping. Not only that, it was rumored that Fang Ping had killed a few other true kings before this. The only thing we can do now is to defend against such an expert with all our might and wait for the majestic court true monarch to return, and not seek our own deaths now. Your Highness, Imperial Court has already suffered heavy losses. Now, you're still sending Palace Lord Yu to his death. Your Highness's heart. Ji Yao took a deep breath and said coldly, "Fine. If you think that this Empress is deliberately making things difficult for you, then this Empress will not make things difficult for you. But I said that a coward is not worthy of being the commander of the Heavenly Mandate Army. Kill Fang Ping. I know you don't have the capability to do so, but the Heavenly Mandate Army is the strongest army in Divine Land. Do you think you can change the commander at will? This Empress has a test." Yu Bao said in a low voice, "How does your Highness want to test us?" Ji Hong was not dead, so he did not dare to forcibly seize the Ji family's authority. There were still many people in the Ji family supporting him, so he could not attack Ji Yao. At the very least, the 500,000 soldiers of the Heavenly Mandate Army were trained by Qi Huanyu. If he forcibly took over, it might shake the army's morale. On the other hand, if Ji Yao were to confer the title, he could naturally make Ji Yao a mere figurehead, slowly eliminate the Ji family's influence, and replace her. Yu Bao considered this, and did not want to shed all pretense of cordiality. Ji Yao pondered for a moment, then said, "It can't be just you. Since this Empress cannot be the commander, then I'll let you fight for it. The one with the most means and strength will naturally be the final winner. This way it can also test your strength, wisdom, and courage. Commander Longshire, the rest of you will also participate in the fight." Ji Yao looked at the few Heavenly Mandate Army commanders and said coldly, "You all are in charge of the Heavenly Mandate Army to begin with, and are more qualified than Hall Master Yu Bao to compete. Hall Master Yu Bao, if you can't even win against them, this Empress does not wish to hear such words again." Yu Bao glanced at Longshire and the rest and said with a smile, "Your Highness is right. Since that's the case, tell us how the test will be, Your Highness." "There are 3 tests. First, there have been rebellions in several capital cities recently. Choose 3 capital cities, and you all lead the experts under you to quell the rebellions in the capital cities. The fastest with the least influence, and the least losses will be the winner of the first round. Agreed. Yu Bao laughed and agreed without hesitation. There were rebellions in several capital cities, but the scale was not large. With his strength, he could directly attack the root of the problem and kill the rebel leaders, and the rebellions would naturally be eliminated. Second, recently, the Heavenly Plant's royal court has repeatedly violated our borders. Furchuan is testing us. When Hall Master Chi was around, he had suppressed the Heaven Plant's royal court for many years and had never lost. I will have each of you lead an army of 10,000 and fight on multiple fronts to defeat the enemy. The winner will spread the might of our royal court. This is the winner of the second round. Yu Bao frowned slightly. This matter was a little troublesome. The Heavenly Plant's royal court had stabilized faster than them. The right divine General Furukawa was still around, and he quickly pacified the threat to the royal court. Now, there was indeed a large army attacking the border. Furukawa was indeed testing the limits of Destiny Royal Court. However, it would be difficult for him to defeat the other party, and he was worried that the other party's true monarch would make a move. After thinking for a while, Universe Bao said, "Yes, but this is only limited to battles between armies. If a true monarch makes a move and the army is defeated, it does not count." Ji Yao snickered and said coolly, "Relax. Furchuan doesn't dare to rashly go to battle." He was also worried that his father and King Pingshan would ambush and kill him. This time, it was just a test. This empress had you bring people to repel the army only to test your abilities. Universe Bao smiled and said, "Since your highness has said so, I agree to these 2 tests. What's the third?" The first test, martial strength. The second test, the ability to command an army in battle. The third test, guts. Ji Yao said coldly, "I want you to bring troops into the Outland to deter the Land of Rebirth. Feign an attack on the Land of Rebirth. Force the Land of Rebirth to retreat. And now, the Land of Rebirth is constantly moving the battlefront forward. This Empress doesn't expect you to attack the Land of Rebirth, but can't you bring troops to deter them from retreating? If you're so useless, then just let the Land of Rebirth occupy the Outland. What's the point of fighting? Isn't it best to let them invade God's land soon?" Ji Yao sneered and said, "What was common back then is now being used to test your guts." What a joke! The overall ability of the Land of Rebirth is far inferior to ours. This Empress only wants you to force them to retreat and reduce the pressure on God's land. This isn't difficult, is it? The royal court's army can't just exist for internal strife. Universe Bao frowned. This was actually not a big deal, and the pressure was not great. What he was afraid of was a surprise attack from the Land of Rebirth's powerhouses. Once it was too aggressive, it would easily cause those lunatics to counterattack. They would gather all their forces to deal with one side. After thinking for a moment, Universe Bao said, "Your Highness, for the third stage of the test, should I choose one of the Outland by myself, or is it designated 108 territories?" The pressure was different. Ji Yao said coldly, "Southern Territory, the Outland that is connected to Sino Nation. God's land's greatest enemy is Sino Nation. Southern Territory is connected to Sino Nation's 25 territories. The passageway is open to all 24 territories, and you can choose any." Southern Territory. As soon as she said that, many people frowned. To deter the Land of Rebirth in the Southern Territory required guts indeed, especially now that Sino Nation had Fong Ping. If they were not careful and Fong Ping came, or if they provoked that person, there might be big trouble. Of course, it might not be that dangerous. As long as they did not launch a large-scale attack and let the other party misunderstand that God's land was invading the land of rebirth, Fong Ping might not dare to attack rashly. Ji Yao sneered and said, "Of course, you can also call for more people to help. Although Fong Ping has the combat strength of a true king, this empress thinks that all of you should already know the Destiny Army's joint attack tactics with 100 god generals and an army to hold the line. No matter how powerful Fong Ping is, he might not dare to take the risk. It's fine if all of you die, but if he dies, the land of rebirth will definitely be hit hard. If all of you can really perish together with Fong Ping, it will be a joyous occasion for the royal court." Having said that, she said mockingly, "Of course, Fong Ping is not stupid. I'm afraid he won't dare to attack rashly. If he attacks, the other true kings will definitely not stand by and watch you get killed." Everyone was still deep in thought. Ji Yao said tiredly, "Who wants to fight for the position of Hall Master? If there is, everyone has a chance. If you give up, then only Hall Master Yu, Longsure, and a few others will participate." Everyone looked at each other. Some of them were tempted. They wanted to be Hall Masters too. Commanding the millions of powerhouses in the Royal Court Army was not only powerful, but there were also many benefits. The Royal Court's resources, treasury, and military treasury had a lot of treasures. Becoming a Hall Master actually gave one the chance to advance to the pinnacle. If Qi Huanyu's path had not been taken away, he would have reached the pinnacle long ago. Among the 3 god generals of the Heavenly Plants Royal Court, other than the left god general who died in battle and the right god general who became the pinnacle, Li Zhu's previous ranking was even emperor level. It was easier to prove one's Dao as a military leader. Although many people supported Yu Bao this time, not all of them were united. "This is all your ability." Everyone was silent. This was inevitable. If one could find powerful external help, that was also one's ability. However, it was somewhat embarrassing to be exposed by Ji Yao. Ji Yao said again, "In addition, after the candidates for Hall Master and Commanders-in-Chief have been decided, I want to be crowned." As soon as she said that, many people frowned. Yu Bao said lightly, "Your Highness, the Lord has not abdicated. I know." Ji Yao said coldly, "If my father dies, you can just kill me. My father is not dead, and he has long wanted to abdicate. My coronation is only natural. However, even if I die, I will die on the throne." Die on the throne? As soon as she said that, everyone's eyes flickered. That was true. If Ji Hong died, the Ji family would not be able to sit on the throne. Ji Yao would definitely die. If Ji Hong did not die, these people would not dare to kill Ji Yao. It would be the same whether she became the Lord or not. Ji Yao wanted to become the Lord because she wanted to walk the path of the people. Everyone knew that. However, a puppet Lord wanted to walk the path of the people. That was just wishful thinking. Ji Yao was just making her final struggle. Using the position of Heaven's Will Palace's deputy hall master and commanders-in-chief, in exchange for the reputation of a puppet lord. Yu Bao thought about this and smiled. "Your Highness, you are too serious. A country cannot be without a ruler. Since the Lord has not returned, crowning your Highness is also a blessing for the palace. Then, the day the Heavens Will Army's commanders-in-chief returns will be the day your Highness is crowned." Ji Yao laughed coldly. Without saying anything, she stood up and left. Seeing that, Feng Ke left with her. After she left, everyone in the hall looked at each other, deep in thought, and dispersed. Feng Ling and the other monsters communicated with each other using their spiritual energy. Then, they continued to meet Feng Quebec. They had to bring Feng Ke back. In the bedroom, Ji Yao was not angry. She was very quiet. After a long time, Ji Yao opened the bedroom's barrier. Then she said in a low voice, "Feng Ke, we are at the end of our rope now. Father has not returned. Perhaps he is in danger. The palace is out of our control. The demons can no longer rely on any external forces. The 3 trials are just to buy us some time. I want to take the opportunity to kill these people. In order to deter the land of rebirth, Yu Bao and the others will definitely gather in the outskirts to prevent Fang Ping from attacking. As for me, I hope that Fang Ping will attack, now, and kill these people." Ji Yao, Feng Ke said worriedly, "But now we are restricted from going out. Not to mention going to the outskirts to the land of rebirth. Even if we leave the palace, there will be people watching us. And if we leave the palace, we will be in danger." He realized that his 4 hooves were tied up and he was hanging on a huge barbecue rack. He was going crazy. This cat wanted to eat him. Emperor Tsang, calf's meat is not delicious. Emperor Tsang, calf has just formed an alliance with King Chun. Emperor Tsang, spare me. Emperor Tsang, elder ancestor calves, meat is delicious. Calf's meat is not delicious. Next time elder ancestor comes back, calf will let elder ancestor cut his meat to serve Emperor Tsang. The cat lay on the ground. Small flames appeared on its claws. Its big eyes were full of contempt. "Calf," the cat wagged its tail and said angrily, "The liar's wine was all left for me. Last night you drank my wine. I'm angry." What the liar had was what it had. Last night it also smelled the fragrance and wanted to get some food. In the end, just as it rushed over, a huge water buffalo drank all its wine and ate all its dishes. Snatching food was the biggest sin. Cats were also protective of their food, even if it did not really like that wine. The key was that it was fragrant. This buffalo actually drank its wine. The cat was a little angry. Li Wuji was about to cry. He was on the verge of breaking down. "I've lost my mind. Why did I go to the banquet last night? Why did I drink and eat?" Most importantly, Li Wuji felt so wronged that he wanted to cry. "Emperor Tsang, last night, not only did calf drink that wine and eat that meat, why didn't you find someone else?" The cat said lazily, "They don't know that I'm still in the human world. Also, I took a look. They're all humans, not demons. You're the only demon. Of course, I have to catch you. I can't eat anyone else." Li Wuji had never hated himself so much. Why was he not a human? Why did he have to become a demon? It was too unfair. "Emperor Tsang, spare me." Li Wuji cried. Tears streamed down his face. He had to cry. If he did not cry, he would die. "Lower your voice." The cat was unhappy. Li Wuji quieted down instantly and looked at the cat pitifully. "I'm really screwed this time." The cat was finally satisfied. A smile appeared on its fat face. It said sneakily, "Calf, if you don't want to be eaten, tell me, where did you hide the Southern Imperial Palace? I remember that there are many delicious foods in the Southern Imperial Palace." "What?" Li Wuji's eyes were blank. "What Southern Imperial Palace?" "Humph, don't try to lie to me. I'm omniscient." The old cat said proudly, "Your calf hid the Southern Imperial Palace. When the heavenly realm was shattered, the Southern Imperial Palace's foundation was destroyed. That calf took the opportunity to sweep the Southern Imperial Palace away and escape to misery. I know everything. Tell me, where is the Southern Imperial Palace? Otherwise, I'm going to eat barbecue now." Li Wuji cried innocently, "Emperor Tsang, calf really doesn't know. If I knew that the elder ancestor had such good stuff, calf would have asked for it long ago. How could I not be at the top now?" The cat held its fat chin with its paws. It was a little distracted. Did calf not know? It was still thinking when a figure appeared. Fang Ping stood in front of the cat and smiled helplessly. Big cat, what are you doing? The cat muttered. Liar, you promised to give me a lot of food and drink. Now you're not giving it to me, but giving it to someone else. I'll stab you to death. King of Man, save me. At this moment, Li Wuji yelled as if he had seen his savior. Fang Ping smiled. Calm down, brother calf. I was just joking. If I really wanted to eat you, I would have eaten you long ago. He then looked at Li Wuji and smiled. But brother calf is smart. You already knew that the cat was in the human world. Li Wuji's face was full of fear. Silence the cat. Lord King of Man. I guessed it too. Previously, I sensed a monstrous might from Sister Human King. Emperor Tsang is a venerable sovereign of the demon clan. He is incomparably noble. That noble aura almost made Little Cow prostrate on the ground. In the entire 3 realms, the only one who can make Little Cow so respectful is Emperor Tsang. Li Wuji hurriedly explained. Don't worry, Lord King of Man Calf won't dare to say anything. Together, Lord King of Man and Emperor Tsang are invincible. The 3 realms will be unified by humans sooner or later. Calf is now the human sea guardian. Maybe he can replace him and become the sea guardian of the 3 realms in the future. Calf won't say anything. Please spare my life, Lord. Fang Ping smiled, without saying a word. Only when Li Wuji was terrified did he say, What you said, how should I put it? I don't really believe you. Usually there's a proof of allegiance. Just tell me, Lord. Calf will do his best and not let you down. Talking to smart people. Calf is so pleasant. Fang Ping chuckled. It's simple. I want to attack the 3 realms. I don't have enough manpower. I want you to lead a team of powerhouses and attack one place. Of course, I'm talking about exposing it in advance. If you don't react when I attack one place, you can monitor from the outside. But if there's a reaction and they're ready to escape, you must stop them. If one person escapes, Brother Calf in the 3 realms, if you think you can escape from Emperor Tsang, you can try. Li Wuji was about to cry. Attack one of the grotto heavens. Old Calf wasn't at the top. It didn't even need to guess to know which 3 great domains they were. The other party seemed to have ultimate voodoo guarding them. Wasn't this sending him to his death? Brother Calf, you're only 1 step away from the top now. You're a demon. You're strong and can take a beating. I'll let Minister Wu Quishan help you. If you 2 work together, I don't think it'll be a problem. Li Wuji put on a long face. How could he refuse? The 3 realms were huge, but Emperor Tsang was too powerful. Old Calf was not confident that he could escape. Fang Ping and Emperor Tsang set him up. Li Wuji looked at Emperor Tsang and Fang Ping helplessly. It was very possible. Otherwise, he would never do this even if he was beaten to death. He struggled internally, but when he saw Emperor Tsang starting to take out the Sky Destroyer and sharpen it, Li Wuji was terrified instantly. Tears streamed down his face. Since Lord King and Emperor Tsang have given their orders, Calf will definitely die. Fang Ping laughed heartily. He took a step forward and untied his 4 hooves, grinning. Brother Calf is indeed a good ally of humans. I believe that Brother Calf will definitely achieve great things in the future. Li Wuji looked dejected. He hoped so. Old Calf was afraid that it was over this time. This time, he had really boarded a pirate ship. Beside him, Emperor Tsang put away the Sky Destroyer. Because Fang Ping's gaze was very sneaky, Emperor Tsang was also very depressed. A swindler was trying to cheat him of his sword again. Seeing that, Fang Ping was a little embarrassed. Old man Li really lacked a good weapon. A good weapon might be of great use. What a pity, what a pity. He cheated the cat every day. Even he felt a little embarrassed. Nine Heaven's Divine Emperor. Chapter 1041. Even though he felt that it was inappropriate to lie to the cat, Fong Ping still said, "Brother Cat, lend me the sky-crushing sword for a few days. I'll return it to you after I destroy the three major realms." The cat began to roll its eyes. If there was something, ask Brother Cat. If there was nothing, ask Big Cat. Now that he heard the name, he did not even need to look at the cat world to know what the scammer was going to do. No way. If he borrowed it, it would be a one-way trip. God-slaying saber, borrowed, gone. Heaven confining bell, borrowed, gone. Stone monument, borrowed, gone. Anyway, the cat realized that ever since it came to the human world, the good stuff in its little treasure vault was getting lesser and lesser. It made the cat sad. The cat wanted to leave, but Fong Ping grabbed it by the tail. At the back, Li Wuji was trembling with fear. He could not bear to watch. The cat tail was caught by someone. Was he going to kill the cat to keep it quiet? He really did not dare to watch. Li Wuji said hurriedly, "Lord King, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Sure, remember, don't leak anything about the cat." "I wouldn't dare. I definitely wouldn't dare." Li Wuji was terrified. "How would I dare?" "I can't wait to stay away from you guys. I wouldn't dare to cause trouble for myself." Li Wuji ran so fast that he wished he had 8 legs. Fong Ping did not care about it. This cow would not dare to leak the secret. Even if the secret was leaked, would anyone in the 3 realms dare to provoke the cat? As soon as it left, Fong Ping began to ravage the cat's head, pinching its big fat face, smiling brightly. "Brother Cat, I'll borrow it for a few days. I promise to return it to you. It's not like you don't know that every time that teacher of mine wields his sword, he shatters divine weapons. No matter how big my family business is, I can't afford that. No matter how rich I am, it's still Brother Cat's in the end. I owe you so many divine weapons. Don't I have to earn money to pay you back? Now that I've squandered everything, where would I find the money to buy food, drinks, and divine weapons for Brother Cat? Meow." The cat mourned. "I don't believe it. Brother Cat, can you bear to see humans suffer heavy losses? These are the workers who are responsible for making cat food for you. Many of us have died, and no one is in the mood to work. If no one is in the mood to work, how can we make a lot of cat food? You said you wanted to save enough cat food for 10,000 years, but there was no one to work for you. Where would you get cat food? Brother Cat, think about it. Don't you agree?" Meow. "That makes sense." The old cat began to doubt his life. What he said made sense, but did it have anything to do with borrowing the sky-crushing sword? "Brother Cat," Fong Ping said helplessly, "I'm just borrowing it. I, Fong Ping, am not the kind of person who doesn't return what he borrows." The cat lay lazily on the ground, facing the morning sun. Looking at Fong Ping, who was laughing heartily, it quieted down, as if reminiscing about the past. It was only at this moment that one could see a trace of vicissitudes in the cat's eyes. It was not a kitten, nor was it a pet cat that knew nothing. It was the first cat in the 3 realms. It was also the oldest creature in the 3 realms. In this life, it had seen too much. It had seen too many heroes, ambitious and ruthless people, overlords and emperors. It had seen too many, so many that it had sealed its own memories, not wanting to recall all of it. Meeting Fong Ping was just a memory that was not worth mentioning in these long years. It had come into contact with many people. Some people succeeded. After succeeding, they forgot everything and their original intentions. Some people failed. After failing, they died in despair, leaving only a heart full of unwillingness and indignation. There were also people. In short, this life had been so long that it was a little tired. It did not know what the future of the person in front of it would be. The cat squinted its big eyes, looking at Fong Ping. Where will you go? It had witnessed the world changing into mulberry fields. In the past 10,000 years in the three realms, there was no one more amazing than Fong Ping. Fong Ping smiled and looked down at the cat under the sun. He saw the vicissitudes of life and suddenly felt a little emotional. He chuckled. Big cat, why don't you stop wandering the three realms? It's so tiring to run, even though you're eating. Why don't I take care of you? This was a stray cat, a cat that wanted to eat and drink and live a relaxing life. But the ways of the world were cruel. Even if it was just a cat, it had its troubles too. It had lived for too long. This was a sin. Maybe its divine weapon was just an insignificant toy in its eyes, but there were people who wanted to snatch it. Maybe the combat techniques and secrets it knew were just a little decoration in this life, but there were people who wanted to know, wanted to obtain, wanted to force it out, including why it had lived for so long. Maybe there were people who had always been thinking about it. You take care of me? The cat opened its eyes. Its chubby face twisted. It struggled and said, You can't take care of me. I want to eat a lot and sleep for a long time. Once I wake up, maybe you'll die. The cat said sadly, suddenly getting up and leaving. Yes, once I wake up, you'll die. Why do I need a master? Demons are heartless, but I'm not a demon. When I wake up, the world has changed. I have no friends, no family, nothing. I have nothing. Back then, the dog that bullied me said it would protect me for a lifetime, then died. Meow, indescribable sadness, indescribable grievances. A cat's life was so lonely. Who could accompany it? Behind it, Fong Ping laughed. Be a happy cat. If I die, I'll give birth to a son to take care of you. If my son dies, I'll give birth to a grandson. It's the same. Big cat, think about it. Meow, I won't think about it. The cat did not even look back. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared on the spot. It's not enough for you to trick me. You want your son, your grandson, to trick me for generations. I won't do it. A liar's son is a liar. His grandson is a liar. His whole family is a liar. I won't believe a liar anymore. Moreover, the liar was a single dog. Single dog? The cat muttered. Big Dog was so perverted. The first dog in the world was not single. Why would humans say it was a single dog? After tricking him into getting the Sky Destroyer, Fong Ping quickly passed it to Old Man Li. In the next few days, Fong Ping began to prepare. This time, he wanted to annihilate the three major territories. He could not be careless. If he could not eliminate the root of the problem, it would easily leave behind a huge hidden danger. The pinnacle of the three major territories must be killed. Must. Moreover, he had to guard against the evil sects and the catacombs' involvement. Not only must he be ruthless, he must be fast. He let forces like Weiyu Mountain take action to divert attention, so that those people's attention would be focused on the place where these people were. As for himself, he would lead some elites to raid the three major territories. This is the first big thing I want to do after Old Zhang, and the rest leave. It must go smoothly. It must be steady. Fong Ping told himself again and again to be steady. The three major territories must be eradicated. Disregarding other things, the three passageways were huge hidden dangers. He did not want true Lord Earthly Zhou's incident to happen again. If I annihilate the three major territories, grandmasters might be on guard. I won't be surprised if they join forces to deal with me. Fong Ping considered the consequences. After this, regardless of success or failure, grandmasters would definitely be extremely vigilant. There are currently 9 known pinnacles in grandmasters. I don't know if there are any hidden ones, but other than the 9 pinnacles, the others can't pose an absolute threat to humans. Humans must produce another pinnacle, at least one. Otherwise, once I leave, no one will be able to protect Earth. Although Tsang Mao was around, Fang Ping could not pin his hopes on him. Right now, the people who had the highest hopes of achieving the pinnacle were Wu Quishan, Tianmu, Su Yunfei, and a few others. Tianmu was walking the Pine King's path, a flat plain. Perhaps with enough origin qi, he could continue. Fang Ping was already considering whether to provide Tianmu with a large amount of origin qi. Time passed day by day. In these few days, some things happened in the catacombs. A war broke out in Destiny Royal Court. The Royal Court quelled the chaos and killed many people. Over at Heavenly Plants Royal Court, a few battles also broke out with Destiny Royal Court. There was also some insignificant news that a few demons were fighting in the restricted area. Some demons escaped into Mount Royal Sea, as if they wanted to break into Mount Royal Sea and seek refuge in the outer realm. Over at Heavenly Plants Royal Court, the Right Divine General supported Li Yi to ascend to the position of Lord and began to reorganize military affairs. Over at Grandmasters, all the Grandmasters shut their doors and did not come out. It seemed like they were also waiting for something. Some of the catacombs dynasties and divine sects were also moving. It was said that in one of Heavenly Plants Royal Court's dynasties, there might be a true king who had not left. It was said that the true king's companion monster plant had broken through to the desperate realm. Not long ago, an unfamiliar powerhouse entered the territory. There seemed to be some movement. As a result, a powerful qi dynamic erupted that day, killing many rank 9 powerhouses. When the news came, Fang Ping was also changing his information records. Sangyue Dynasty, suspected to have a desperate realm guarding. The desperate realm powerhouse is the true King Sangyue's companion monster plant, a mysterious ancient tree. Sangyue Dynasty, established 1,000 years ago, affiliated to Heavenly Plants Royal Court. The true King Sangyue's strength is average. I don't know if he died in the last battle. Sangyue Dynasty and Mount Royal Sea are not connected. They rarely come into contact with humans. The dynasty's strength is unknown. Heavenly Division. Fang Ping recorded the information line by line. One more paragon meant one more surprise. Many paragons had appeared in Heavenly Plants Royal Court now. King Huai's whereabouts were unknown. Sky Elm and Old Creek were both in the Imperial City. Now an ancient tree had appeared. There were already 4 desperate realms. A centipede dies but doesn't fall down. Fang Ping could only sigh. The catacombs was too big. It was difficult to explore clearly. There were paragons who hid their auras. Unless they were also desperate realms and were separated by about 1,000 miles, there was no hope of discovering the other party. Otherwise, it was difficult for the weak to discover the abnormality. There were movements in the catacombs. There were also movements on the human side. The 3 elite armies, Wuan Army, Fallen Star Army, and National Garrison, were gathering, preparing for a great war in the Outland. Forces like Weiyu Mountain and Wanwu Mountain were also mobilizing powerhouses, preparing to participate in the war. The specific target had not been determined yet. However, the location of the war was very likely to be the Southern Territory. Other countries and Holy Lands also had powerhouses coming to Sino Nation one after another, including some of the Holy Land's elite armies. Overseas, the monsters besieging the island was still ongoing. The island had a defense system and was guarded by powerhouses. Until now, he only heard that 2 of the islands had been breached. The other places were still in a state of panic. The divine sect, on the other hand, had completely disappeared. There was no news from the divine sect on Earth or in the catacombs. Just as Fang Ping was recording the news, someone knocked on the door. "Come in." The next moment, peak rank 6 Ling Yi entered the door. She looked at Fang Ping, not saying a word. Fang Ping looked up, but quickly lowered his head to continue recording. He said, "If you have something to say, say it." Fang Ping. Fang Ping did not even raise his head. He said lightly, "This is the heavenly division." Ling Yi suppressed her anger and said angrily, "Minister Fang, Lord King, are you forgetting something? Say it. It seems like you've really forgotten." Ling Yi said angrily, "Yunshi has left Sino Nation for 20 days. February 28th. The day you left, she left. Now so many things have happened, and Yunshi is nowhere to be seen. If she knew that you've become a king, I'm afraid she would have come back to congratulate you. But she didn't come back even after such a big event. And I'm afraid you've forgotten. There are too many people who flatter you. How can you still remember that woman? 3 days ago, Grandmaster Chen, Yaoting broke through to rank 9 and entered the catacombs in South Capital alone. Until now, there has been no news from him. Minister Fang, an old man like you probably didn't care about all this." Fang Ping raised his head, looked at her, and said lightly, "Ling Yi, do I need you to remind me of all this?" "Humph," Ling Yi said angrily, "every time you go to the catacombs, Yunshi is scared out of her wits. She doesn't eat or drink. She only knows how to cultivate. Her only thought is to increase her strength so that she can share your burden. What about you? You eat well and sleep soundly. You're a king now, the leader of the human race. Yes, you're very powerful, so powerful that people fear you, but you can't have a conscience. I can live up to my conscience." Fang Ping snorted. "Ling Yi, you have no right to criticize me. What you eat, drink, wear, use for cultivation, I, Fang Ping, killed in the catacombs with my saber and spear, robbed, and seized. I fought with the catacombs' ultimate peak, and you were still basking in the sun on Sky Island. You have no right to criticize me. You were the same rank as me in rank 3 back then. What can you do now? As for me, I'll say something that you don't want to hear. I'm shouldering the pressure of the entire human race. What do you know? You're just a little girl. You only know how to talk nonsense." Ling Yi gritted her teeth and said in a muffled voice, "Yes, I don't know anything. I'm not as great as you, but Yunshi's whereabouts are unknown now. Can't you go to the catacombs in South Capital to look for her?" "I can't go now." Fang Ping frowned. "Stop talking nonsense. I know better than you. Either she's fine, or it's been 20 days, and she's already dead." Fang Ping's eyes glinted coldly. He said in a low voice, "I still have things to arrange here. We'll know in a few days. Your mission now is to break through to rank 7 and join the battle at the front line, not to talk to me about this." Fang Ping stood up and shouted, "Go, cultivate, assemble, prepare for the upcoming battle. Who asked you to stay on Sky Island?" "I, Fang Ping, nurture martial artists who are willing to fight, not vermin. If you don't have any credit, go back to CCMAU. Don't embarrass me in the Sky Division." Ling Yi's face was flushed. She gritted her teeth, turned around, and left. Just as she left, Old Manly came in through the door, laughing. "Why are you angry? Your temper is rising." "She's just big boobs and no brains. Didn't you call her little boobs? Why did you change it?" Fang Ping rolled his eyes, speechless. "Since when did you have this hobby? You even listened to gossip. How many years ago was that? How many years ago?" Old Man Li did not know whether to laugh or cry. "Just 2 years. Not even 2 years. Speaking of which, when you fought with her, that old thing Chen Yaoting was still watching from the sky. In the blink of an eye, that old thing is also rank 9. After coming out of the catacombs, Chun Yaoting, who was severely injured, was really stimulated this time. In a spurt of energy, he broke through to rank 9 directly, 6th refinement advancement. He did not wait any longer. 6th refinement golden body, breaking through to rank 9 directly, according to the Old Man's Foundation, as the first rank, 7 back then. Breaking through to 6th refinement was not a big problem. But Chun Yaoting gave up. Just like Old Man, Li, who did not reach peak 9 refinement. They could not wait any longer. What the future prospects were, they did not care. It was enough to seize the present, because no one knew if they still had a future. Old Man Li lamented, but soon laughed. All right, let's not talk about this. Are you going to Mount Luofu this time? Uh-huh. Fong Ping nodded, sat down, and said, I'm going to Mount Luofu. You go to Void. Mausoleum Grotto Heaven. Li Wuji bring people to Huitong Mountain. Void, Mausoleum Grotto Heaven, is the weakest of the 3 major grotto heavens. But it is also said that there is an absolute venerable guarding it. I'll let Ironhead accompany you. He has Emperor armor. He can help you block a killing blow. And your explosive power is very strong now. Don't fight to the death with the other party. Entangle the other party, or just don't fight at all. Even if the other party really runs away, your mission is to keep an eye on the other party's whereabouts. When I destroy Mount Luofu, immediately come to help and annihilate them. Old Manly pondered. I'm not worried about my side. I'm worried about you. Kid, the other party is a genuine absolute venerable, and also an old antique. The probability of a weak absolute venerable is not high. Under normal circumstances, after all these years, no matter how weak the other party is, they still have 1,000,000 vitality. Also, Mount Luofu is one of the 10 major grotto heavens. It is not comparable to other grotto heavens. I'm worried even more than one absolute venerable. Some of them may not wake up from their deep slumber, but once you ambush the other party and break through the sect, no matter how deep they sleep, they will still wake up. I heard that some absolute venerables have reached the end of their lifespans and have no choice but to sleep. I'm afraid there are still such old monsters. As he said that, Old Manly said in a low voice, Why don't we not split up? Let's concentrate our forces and besiege one place. Bring Ironhead and the rest. At the crucial moment, you can still use the combined combat techniques. This way the chances are higher. Fong Ping was too ambitious. Old Man, Li was extremely worried that he had to destroy 3 major territories in one go. Fong Ping laughed, however, and said, If we concentrate our forces, we have the confidence to destroy one place. But if the absolute venerable dies, the movement will not be small. The other 2 major territories will receive the news very soon. Once they escape, it will actually be more troublesome. Fong Ping laughed. Don't worry, I'm not as weak as you think. It's fine if I don't move, but if I move, I will definitely destroy the other party. Kid, tell me honestly, how far have you gone in your origin path? Old Manly frowned. Also, how strong is your vitality exactly? Fong Ping laughed. Not far, about 1,000 meters. Get lost. Old Manly scolded. Was he addicted to bluffing people? You can bluff me too. Fong Ping could not help but laugh. Today was already the 20th of March. It had been a week since he beheaded True Lord Earthly Zhou, and 5 days since he integrated the MCMAU. These few days, he had improved very quickly. However, Fong Ping also felt something. As he advanced on the road, his speed was also decreasing. The origin path, the further he went, the harder it was. If on the day he integrated the MCMAU, he could walk 25 meters a day on the second day, it would be 24 meters on the third day. It was still decreasing. Of course, there were projections from Sun City and MCMAU every day, barely maintaining a balance. However, Fong Ping knew that this was just the beginning. When no more projections from Sun City and MCMAU came in, and the further he went on the origin path, the slower he would be. At this moment, Fong Ping also knew that he was too optimistic. That was true. How could the difficulty of a 1,000-meter road and a 10,000-meter road be the same? Reaching the absolute venerable in a month. I'm afraid it's now an extravagant hope. Fong Ping sighed in his heart. Too slow. He could not say this out loud. If he said it out, he would be spat on. Wealth, 7. 5 billion points vitality. 499,999 calories, 4,999,999 calories. Mentality, 10,685 hertz, 10,685 hertz. Can be cut. Origin, longitudinal 450 meters, plus 45%. Horizontal 3090 meters, plus 30, 9%. Combat techniques, nameless saber technique, plus 6%. Void piercing swordsmanship, plus 3%. Manic explosion blade, plus 1%. Combat technique combination deduction. 1 million points / time origin energy conversion. 100,000 points / 1 cloud energy shield. 1 point / minute plus aura simulation. 10 points / minute plus origin detailed analysis. 10 to 100 million points / time power control. 75% limit outburst, 682,120 cal / 905000 cal. At this moment, Fong Ping seemed to have reached a bottleneck. His vitality had stopped at the 500,000 calories threshold. His limit had already surpassed the weak paragon. At this moment, Fong Ping could be said to truly possess the combat strength of a desperation realm. After all, he still had the divine weapon. Reaching the limit of more than 900,000 calories, even a desperation realm would need many years. However, Fong Ping was still not satisfied. Among the old antiques nowadays, how many of them were at the weak paragon? According to his plan, he would take action in 3 days. He did not know if he could break through the bottleneck in 3 days, let his origin path exceed 500 meters, let his vitality exceed 500,000 calories. Time can't be delayed, Fong Ping mumbled in his heart. If he delayed any longer, there would be trouble. He could not go to the South Capital catacombs to search wantonly lest he alert the enemy. 3 days. 3 days later, he had to take action. I hope my combat strength will be even stronger then. I can conceal my aura. This is my magic weapon to win. What Fong Ping was prepared to do was to scheme against the unsuspecting. He did not plan to attack forcefully. Only an idiot would attack forcefully. Inform all parties. We'll take action in 3 days. Fong Ping spoke, but did not mention his strength. A mere 900,000 calories limit. It was fine if he did not mention it. The outside world thought that he had the strength of a peak rank 5. He was nothing. Old Man Li saw that he had no intention of changing his plan, so he did not say anything more. He stood up and said, "All right, then I'll inform all parties." "Oh, right. There's some chaos in the Donglin catacombs. It seems like a monster broke into the Donglin catacombs. Now, there are powerhouses entering. I'll go take a look to avoid trouble." "All right." Fong Ping did not say much, quickly agreeing to it. P.S. Not a serious book. A book friend wrote, Journey to the Great Novels. It's not serious either. Professional hater of readers and authors writing nonsense. Everyone, go and flame him. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.